Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SimPlay Motorsport, back for the start of the Pro-Am Series. It is going to be an absolutely cracking night of action around Oulton Park here this evening. It should be a fantastic night's worth of racing. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, joined in the box by the current Pro-Am champion, make his debut in the Pro Series tomorrow night, and that is Langley, joining me for the majority of this season in the box. Langley, good evening. Welcome to the commentary box.
Good evening, Matt. It is good to be back, I will say that. And I'll tell you what, I know you saw the M2s last night. Man, that was some way to start off the season, wasn't it? It was 3 races of non-stop action, and not just the races, the qualifyings were outstanding too. Some absolutely brilliant racing from the M2s we saw last night. I expect more tonight in Pro-Am, and especially in Pro tomorrow. This is one of the tightest tracks, and we have probably the most cars we'll have all season. Hopefully not. I hope I'm wrong on that. I hope we get more cars, actually. But undoubtedly, this is one of the tightest tracks with a ton of cars on it, so we are bound for some chaos tonight.
We're expecting 32 cars, currently 29 in the lobby. We are expecting 32, so numbers have looked brilliant in the sign-ups this season. And going forward for the rest of this year, hopefully, like Langley says, these numbers can continue and we can keep up what looks to be a stacked grid. And not just a stacked grid for the front runners, all around. You look at the top 7, 9/10 of a second, and then you go down to from 8th all the way down to 20th is 8/10 of a second. And then down to the runners down at the back. Hopefully we'll pick up some more time as they go through. It looks a great grid. Oulton Park, though, what a circuit to open up the championship here at SimPlay Motorsport. Like we said, the M2s last night, fantastic action all around on them. Great race starts, great drama, great qualifying. The whole night was just really, really fun to watch and very enjoyable. Good evening to Send It Sim Racing and to PM Trains in the chat. This is going to be an interesting one tonight, though, Langley. A lot of drivers out there that you raced against last season, some back, some new. Who have you got your eye on this season? Because I'm currently on with Benny Varga. I really fancy this guy's chances this year. If he can have a good season, keep it out of trouble like we saw he had a few moments last year, Benny Varga's got a real chance. Off the back of a top 10 in an endurance event with yourself, where you was asleep for the first part of it and only going late. But he's got to be a man who's got a real good shout this season.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely gave me a run for my money in some races. One of the ones I think back to was Laguna Seca last year, when I came off of no practice. But he, besides Vitas taking tires that race, Varga didn't take tires, and he was with Vitas and I the entire race. And as you know, us two, Vitas and I, are now in Pro. Benny's still in here. He needs a little more consistency than last season, but I know he can do it, and he's showing his pace right now. He's already P1 in this practice session. Williams from last season had struggled at the start, I will say. Had to get some consistency down, get the car, like wrangle the car, figure out what you needed with the setup. But he's showing good pace here too, and I really hope that he can keep it consistent. I think our previous constructors champions, 4Q, the ones from 4Q, will be a pair to watch, definitely. They are not in the Lexus anymore, and I did hear at the end of last season that they were not a fan of it. It's besides the straight line speed. Everyone loves the straight line speed, but it was getting a handful to drive for them throughout a season's course. So definitely the 2 constructors champions last year. But yeah, I got my eye on Benny Varga too. I think if he gives it his best shot and he keeps it clean, consistency, I think that's what won it for me last season, because I don't think I was the quickest driver at the end of last season, but the consistency round over round is what's going to win you the championship. Even with a shorter calendar, it still is what's going to win you a championship.
And there's no more track to be consistent on than this one, is there? Let's be honest, because Oulton Park's so tight and narrow, bumpy, very undulated, twisty as well. This circuit is really going to test. This and Bathurst, I think, are going to be the 2 where if you're very consistent here, you're putting yourself in a great position to be champion this season. Obviously, of course, we've got the new championship rules of now that there is the overall championship, but silver and bronze are its own championships here. So you can see the silver numbered drivers out there on the grid, and then the bronze at the minute was better with an absolutely fantastic lap time there. The leader of bronze, you've got Privet, Cherrymore. We'll go through the drivers a little bit more in qualifying. Mike Hunt Racing has gone back. It doesn't actually say their team name on the server, but Greaves and Hunt was Fandango from last year. They are going back to 4Q Motorsport. It was down as Mike Hunt Racing. They are going back to 4Q Motorsport. They want to defend it with the same name. We've got 39 drivers, a few missing tonight, a few away. Want to say a shout out to our Pro-Am driver who's away this week. He's in Devon, but a big happy birthday to Gary Leach. It's his birthday, one of the OGs of SimPlay Motorsport, been here since day number 1, and it'll be great to see what he can do out there this season. Teamed with Steve Millington, but we'll run through the teams very quickly. So we've got the returning Sodor racing car of Benny Vargas, independent entry, but certainly one to watch this season. Benny could be a driver to keep an eye on. Sam Williams returns with Team Audio Sport. Obviously, no Nebo from last season, who he was teamed with. Nebo hopefully will be returning later on in the season. He is being paired with that of Andrew Taylor, another one of the OGs from SimPlay Motorsport days. That's a good pairing for me on paper. That looks a strong pairing between the two of them. That could be one to keep our eyes on. Bettison is back in the Lexus. No team. He's going independent this season. Independent team entry for Paul Williams at Black and Blue Racing. He's staying with the McLaren. Michael Johnson makes a return as an independent in what I think is possibly the nicest livery on the grid tonight. In the Nissan. Great to see a Nissan back out there on track. Johnson has drove the Nissan for a few seasons here and there. He gave it a rest last season out. He was in the Aston Martin, but he's back as an independent driver. Wolski for Greasy Bandits Racing. Keep your eye on this man. He also picked up a lot of pace as the season went on. He is teamed with this year, that is Diego Flores in the Greasy Bandits car, staying in the Aston Martin and the BMW M4. That could be a pairing for that Constructors' Championship. See what they can do as the season goes on. Unsworth back on the grid, real-time racing, and he's back with a familiar face. We lost him last season, but he is back with Old Sim Racer, who's currently 15th place. Great to have Old Sim Racer back out there on the grid. So we'll see what they can do. Greaves and Hunt, aka Fandango, running Porsches, as Langley said. They're teamed up for 4Q Motorsport, defending their Constructors' Championship. We've then got that of Peckman, who is out on circuit. Independent team entry for Balkan Sim Hub team. What can he do in his McLaren? Steve Millington, relegated from the pros last season back into the Pro-Am category, driving under the SimPlay Racing name. He will be partnered with Gary Leach. Gary, of course, who we just had on holiday, so not here tonight. Chris Privet in the McLaren, the Wales-coloured McLaren, as far as I'm led to believe, because his teammate Broom is in the Welsh-coloured Honda. I know he's Welsh, I'm not sure if Privet is, but lovely looking car for Team Aspire. Gabino back in his Lamborghini as an independent entry. Lino down from Pro to Pro-Am. What can he do in his Ferrari? Independent entry there. Team Merlot returning with the same driver lineup. He is in the Lamborghini though this year, along with Mark Tucker alongside him. Cherry Moore is then an independent driver entry. What can he do coming from the GT4s into the Pro? There is Broom, the teammate of Privet. Sturrock, independent in the Mercedes. We've then got Malarax in the... I'm torn between this and the Nissan livery because that is classic Aston Martin colours. Ian Best in the Quantum Motorsport car. Rob Smith, the Billy No Makes Honda. Simcoe in the white Ferrari. Phil Atherton joining Bearded Racing in the Lamborghini. Benny Archer, Team GBR. Tank, not yet. Darren Bell, not yet on the grid at the moment. John Andrews, Solo Run, Roadrunner Motors. There's Kieran Argent in the Quantum Motorsport car. Now going from SimPlay Racing to Quantum Motorsport. And Dronelander has just got in as well. Benny Varga, will we hear Glen tonight? I believe you should be able to hear him. Everything is unmuted, so hopefully you have heard Glen. If you haven't heard him, let me know in the comments. PN says, Benny in the chat, good evening to Fury's granddad, and a good evening to Ian Thompson as well. And Unorthodox, good evening to yourself. Great commentary last night. Hope the voice as well. He says, let's go Team Audio Sport in the chat. Qualifying though, Glenn, is now well underway as we start for the 10-minute qualifying for the first time this season. What can the drivers do around here? What are we expecting to see in this qualifying?
A lot of mistakes, for sure. But there's going to be drivers that we didn't expect to see at the front of the grid, as we usually do, as well. It's going to be very hard to find space for a lap, and there's going to be a lot of ruined laps, I think. There's going to be a lot of frustrated drivers after qualifying, and there'll be a select few that are very happy. So, I think it's going to be exactly what it was in the M2s. It's going to be a bit of chaos and a bit of tight splits, to say the least.
So we've got 31 drivers in. We can hear him loud and clear, says an awful lot, so that's good to hear though. So we are missing 2 drivers from the grid. Darren Bell's one that I can see that isn't out there. Couple of cars in the pit lane at the moment. So everything looks good for the drivers out there. Track position here, Glenn. Such a key factor to get a good lap in around here.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we saw ample overtaking in the M2s, but I'm skeptical about the same thing in these GT3s. It is definitely a challenge to overtake around here, and I mean, you have to have some significant pace advantage to overtake the car ahead. There's not many long straights. There's a few heavy braking zones, but they're single file corners, and if you don't sort yourself out before the second part of a series of corners, then you're just losing more time than if you were to just sit behind. So it's a give and take. You have to know when to make your moves. You have to know when to take your time. I think we'll definitely see some drivers get impatient with it, and it's going to lead to some brilliant action out on the track tonight.
Indeed it is. This is on board with Benny Varga, just showing you how tight this circuit actually is. He's in the M4, and there's barely 2 car widths on this circuit as he comes now into the Britain chicane for the first time, mounts the first curb, cautious on that second one. He can easily rotate the rear round, gets it now down, up over the hill. You drop downhill before you come towards the Hislop chicane here at Oulton Park. Very crucial chicane to get right. Not as greedy on the first curve, nice and greedy on the second, through Knickerbrook, the best corner in motorsport history. Now up Clay Hill, you come under the Oulton Park Bridge, and this is where you can try and get a good bit of momentum up here in towards Druids. Very easy at Druids to lose the car mid-corner and just have a bit of a snap. All nice and clean for Benny Varga, down under the second of the Oulton Park Bridge as they come once again before you come to the final corner of Lodge, where it dips away just under braking as you turn in, comes back uphill, drops away again. This is what we're saying about the undulations. Now through Dealey, up over the starting line. What is Benny Varga's lap time going to be? It's a 34.0 to start us off here in qualifying. That is a decent opening lap and a good banker for Benny Varga there.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's come out right out the box and shown his pace. I think that's a pretty good time. I think he can go a little quicker, but that is a very, very competitive time right off the bat.
Straight away, a second quicker than Sam Williams and Steve Millington as well. Rob Smith, Ian Best has currently gone pole position in the bronze category at the moment. Obviously your former teammate from last year has taken that provisional pole in bronze at the moment, down to find car number 63. This is Privett, who's just done his lap time, so we won't see him. We'll try and get the 888 of his teammate Neil Broom. Up the hill he goes. Looks like the old Castro livery on the original Honda. He goes up into 15th place as the silver driver, now to find car number 18. That is Diego Flores in the Greasy Bandits Aston Martin. Where does he go? Invalid lap time, so not a lap time for him. John Andrews coming through the final corner. What can he do? Back in the BMW. Great to see John Andrews fit and healthy and back out there again. No lap time for him though. The 163 of Old Sim Racer. Let's jump on board him as he comes towards the end of his lap. What will he be able to do? No lap time from him either. So at the moment, a few invalid lap times coming on the board. Beto as well does the same thing, and it's so easy around here, Glenn, to just invalidate that lap just by going a little bit off the circuit. It is so tight.
Yeah, I have no idea why, but especially turn one, it's the white lines here instead of the curb, where so many tracks it's the curb that is the track limits, and with it being so tight, you want to push every ounce of track that you think that you have, and it's so easy to overstep it just barely. I don't know the corner names around here as well as you do. I guess you can blame me being American for that, but the double right-hander in the third sector, definitely you can run wide there too, but if you go over the white line, it will invalidate that as well, and it is just frustrating
Yeah.
sometimes, and especially if you're on a good lap, because it's hard to hook a lap up around here. You mentioned earlier, I know we don't have much time left already in this quali session, but how bumpy it is. I'm on controller, and I said that it was giving me a headache from how bumpy it was. I'm not even on a wheel. I don't have force feedback. It's just my eyes and how much the car is moving up and down. It is one thing to deal with for sure.
And the one thing as well to mention tonight, a new rule change for this season is the tyre sets have been changed from 10 to 8 for week 1 and then down to 7 for week 2. So drivers here don't really have the tyres to go back into the pits, put a fresh set on and get out there, because if they've used a few in practice, there is that second practice if they want to tweak any setup changes, but it's really crucial, isn't it, to get the lap times done on this one set of tyres in qualifying and not use too many sets of tyres, as we're down to 3 and 3/4 minutes. This could play a big factor going into the races later on in the season.
I'll tell you what, the two cars that seem to have found some beautiful open air is definitely Benny Varga and Sam Greaves right now. They are on the part of the track where no one else is. I'm looking at that track map. It is the whole track is basically covered, except these two guys who are just a few seconds apart right now. But Williams goes up to P2, or has been P2. Just a quarter second off of Varga. It's getting spicy. They're gonna push each other. 33.3 is an outstanding time. That's and Williams too. I'll be honest. That's close to my quickest time, and that's very good around here. I know the BMW. I know the Ferrari isn't as good of a car around here because of the curbs, but the BMW is definitely one that you can abuse those curbs and ride over them to get the lap time out of it.
It's going to be an interesting one. Benny Archer to the line, 6.7 off the pole at the moment, goes up to 4.4 in a brand new car this year is Benny Archer. So what will we see him do? Obviously the bronze winner last season. It means a bit more this year with it being its actual own championship for gold, platinum, bronze and silver. So it really is crucial to try now and defend that bronze, if you will. Old sim racer, by the way, goes right up to 9th place. Bettison at the moment, P5 in the Lexus, the quickest bronze driver out on circuit at the moment, absolutely charging out there. We're coming to the back end of qualifying though. Benny Varga's bailed on this lap. You can see him weaving there. He's got to be cautious though, because he's got Brian Craig not far behind him at all. So there is now, so to go back to the classes, it is a point for pole and fastest lap, but the points are scored as overall results. So the drivers won't score a point. You know, they'll get a race win, they'll get a podium, but they won't get race win points. They'll get where they finish, and that is the way this season is going to work. So for drivers out there, in that bronze category especially, there's an extra couple of points to play for you. It's not just fastest lap outright and pole position outright. It's a little bit extra this season.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that still encourages racing in between the bronze and silver class, and in pros, the gold and platinum class. Because we don't want to just see drivers getting out the way just because they're in a different class. So I think that's good with that rule change, and it promotes the racing and it helps the commentary, because we have 2 different races to follow sometimes.
Definitely have 2 championships to follow this season, as Dan is loving the Lexus in the chat at the moment. You can see him back on the grid tomorrow night in, you've probably guessed it, the Lexus. Interesting to see Sturrock in the Mercedes. Keep our eyes on that Mercedes as well. Rob Ramsey will be running the Mercedes tomorrow night. As Sturrock comes to the line, stays P14 for the time being. The 114 of Unsworth about to cross the line now. 1.8 off the pole, shoots up to P5, finds 7/10 of a second. We've got the 96 of Sam Greaves, defending Constructors Champion. I don't think we've ever had a championship where the 2 drivers who have won the Constructors in Pro-Am have both been able to defend it the season after. This could be an interesting one as Greaves stays P15. Benny Varga about to finish his latest run. Will get one more lap provided the fuel is in the tank. You're definitely nodding the Porsche, Dan. I'll go crazy. Benny Varga doesn't improve. Williams quarter of a second off the back of Varga, like Glen said a minute ago. And he stays within that time. And this is the problem with qualifying now. Drivers may want to put that fresh set of tyres on, but with having this now new qualifying format, you've kind of got to do the 10 minutes on that one set of tyres. Them tyres may be done. The traffic may not help, but the tyres may be done in terms of putting a better lap time in.
Yeah, and Williams back in the pits, so his qualifying is over. P2 right now, that's looking good. And Bedison, showing not bronze pace, I will say. That is definitely silver pace, up into P3 ahead of most of the silver class. Anyway, still got a few to cross the line, but it's looking like our suspicion before this qualifying session started of Benny Varga having a good chance. I mean, we still have a couple drivers on a lap, and it's not over till it's over. I think Wolski's still on a lap, and he could be improving, but he's showing that pace. It's just, can he get that consistency?
Yeah.
Will he put in a few hours each week to make sure that the car is stable and feeling good for him, so he can get the results week after week? That's the hardest thing to do. You can be quick anywhere, but the hardest thing to do is mentally to focus week after week and just to put in the result. That is the hardest thing to do in a championship.
100%. PN saying thought you was in the Skoda GT3 car. Dan Matt Wright saying the Team Aspire liveries. Oh my, I do like them, but I tell you what, the Aston Martin of Malrex and the Nissan of Johnson, I think, just tip them Hondas and McLarens for me. 2 cars left on a lap. Steve Millington's going to come to the line. Keep your eyes on what he can do. Goes P11 in this one. So that then is your grid order. Better will start P3 from the bronze category. That is a fantastic lap from him and a fantastic start to the season, exactly what he wanted. But Benny Varga is your outright pole sitter, 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than Williams, and that for Benny Varga is going to be the absolute key to this season. He's got to now get it off the line and get that race win in the bag. But a good start for him in terms of getting that pole position off of his back there. What a start for Benny Varga in this one. But Bettison as well, got to have a bit of confidence now, given that Lexus is just putting P3 on that grid, on the grid, in the bronze category.
Yeah, I know Dan and chat's gonna be always rooting for his Audio Sport boys, but I'm sure he can't help but root for that Lexus in P3 as well. I know he loves the Lexus, and that's gonna be a dangerous car off the line. I mean, the Lexus is good; it doesn't have much lag to it, and I mean, we could see a 3 wide into turn 1 possibly, but yeah, Varga pole position. Won't be next week for the sprint, obviously, but yeah, he just needs to get off the line well. Williams, a brilliant P2. If he shows that consistency as well, he's going to be on Varga's heels all season. But what a great first qualifying session. Some outliers, like you said, Bettison and P3.
20 seconds.
Definitely keep an eye on Wolski and P4, and I think it needs mention as well, Kieran Argent in the top 10.
Yep.
In that new Ferrari of his.
Yeah, learning the Ferrari. He's gone from the BMW to the Ferrari, so he's gone Bentley, BMW, Ferrari now, but that'll be an interesting one to see what he can do in this race this season in that new piece of machinery. We've been struggling a little bit in testing to get it bang on. Simcoe has missed the start of this race and will be down the order, so that is a shame for him. He'd have wanted to get off the grid and away well, but he misses the start of this race. He'll be going from the pit lane. Where's Paul Williams? Running in P5. Great to have Paul Williams back. P5. Great qualifying for him out there as well, so an interesting one to see what he can do. Taylor as well, Andrew Taylor, we saw glimpses of him last season having good pace. What could he do this season, as well as Wolski and Williams? Old Sim as well, Millington coming down from the pro. This is going to be an interesting one to see what he can do.
Yeah, definitely. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of his shoulders too. Pro can be a lot where you feel like you have to put in non-stop hours of practice, and if it's just not for you, it's just not for you. If you don't have the time to practice, that's no problem. But all of us want to race still, am I right? I mean, yeah, definitely keep an eye on him. I think Pro-Am will be less elbows out than Pro, so that should help him in that aspect. And should help him in side-by-side where he can be more elbows out than others. But he's also in the McLaren, which is different from his Ferrari from last season. So that'll be a new challenge for him. I'm not sure if he's raced it before. That would be a question for you rather than something I'd know. Yeah, I'm excited for this, and it's so weird to watch drivers that I raced against last season and to commentate over them now, but couldn't be more happy to do it. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant to watch, and I remember commentating over Pro last season. It was also so fun at Laguna Seca. I'm glad to be in here for this season. I'm glad to be on the Pro Grid as well. Might struggle tomorrow night, but yeah, we're getting ready to go here at Oulton Park. Still on about halfway through the formation lap, going into Sector 3. I'm gonna hand it off to you, Matt, for the race start.
Yeah, well, all the data's just gone in for the pole positions and for the drivers who have set their qualifying time, so that data will all be lapped in and ready to go. Bettison with that extra point for pole position already, so him and Benny Varga just taking the points at the moment. It's going to be a heck of a championship fight here for the drivers and for the teams as well. This could be a really crucial one to see develop in this season, so a point already on the board. But we approach now the final corner of the lap, and we're about to go green, so it is only that once again of Simcoe who is in the pit lane. No Darren Bell at the moment, so not sure if he's able to race this evening, but he's not here at this moment in time, so hopefully he'll be able to get himself in. But we're about to get ready for race number 1. This could be an absolute cracking start to the season. The M2s was fantastic to watch at the start last night. What will happen here, though, is we're about to get ready to go green at Oulton Park for Season 9, race number 1. We're green and go here in the Pro-Am Championship, and it's Varga who gets a beautiful start ahead of Williams, dropping down to Bettison, losing out to Wolski around the outside of Lodge Corner there, sorry, Old Hole Corner, and that's a pretty good getaway from everybody, just dropping down the backfield. That is Old Sim onto the grass. Everybody, though, looks cleanly through. Gabino just on the grass as well. Few yellow flags, so not everybody. Spinners in the background at turn 1. That is a Ford Mustang of Benny Archer, and the Honda of Rob Smith has had a moment. Ignore the fact that Taylor was P1 there. It is still Benny Varga leading from that then of Williams as they come in towards the Shallows hairpin for the first time. Through they go. Nice and clean to get away. A few drivers though having moments down at turn 1 already, way behind on the first sector. 15-minute race here for the sprint. That 25-second pit stop going to be crucial to get it right at this moment in time, because the pit stops now are going to throw a different strategy, especially going into that second race, just dropping down the order a little bit. Unsworth fending off that of Paul Williams. We've got that of Taylor looking like he was going side by side. No, it wasn't Taylor, sorry, it was Millington going side by side with the Lexus of Bettison. So the dream start he'd have hoped for hasn't happened for him. He's tumbled down the order. Where's Argent dropped down to? He's also dropped down a couple of places, but Benny Varga leads. Decent getaway from the front runners already.
Yeah, I was watching down at P11. Millington was too late on the brakes, and he tapped the back of Archer, and Betterson's off at the double right-hander along with another car right behind him. The Lexus struggling to keep it on track this first lap. Yeah, Millington hit the back of Argent on the first lap. He did a pirouette. I don't think any other damage besides the rear damage. He just did a pirouette and he got going again. So hopefully he can recover from that. But yeah, struggling first lap for the Lexus.
There is also no pit window in this race, so drivers can pit when they want in this race. And we've already got Hunt, Lino, Argent already into the pit lane. But out front, it is Varga from Williams with fastest lap. Wolski sticking with them in third. Unsworth from Paul Williams. Andrew Taylor's up to sixth. Then it's Brian Craig. Steve Millington in eighth now from Cherry Moore. Then it's Old Sim. It'll then be Bestie, who's currently your bronze leader, and up into 11th place at the start of this race. What a start for Ian Best. Beto then in 12th, then Malrex, Gabino, Broom in his Honda is P15, Tucker's 16th place from Privet. Then it's Peckman going side by side with Johnson through the little left-hand kink. Peckman round the outside, tried to hold it strong, off he goes. So Johnson gets the place. Does Flores? Yes, he does. What about John Andrews? He also gets the place. Peckman's got to be careful on this rejoin, and he was careful indeed. Sturrock also got past in there. Phil Atherton 23rd. Hunt done his pit stop, he's 24th. Lino's done his, he's 26th. Argent's come out 27th. Dronelander, Greaves, Smith and Archer are in the pits. I think Archer has returned to the pit lane, but what a start to this race it has been already. 0.3 of a second. Closest fight here, Cherry Moore on that of Steve Millington as they come up Clay Hill in towards Druids. Lap number 2. We're under yellow flags for Benny Archer returning to the pit lane. But what a start here as Unsworth trying to get Old Sim, trying to get even closer to the back of Cherry Moore through Druids. This is a cracking little fight. We've got Bestie as well in the background with that of Beto on the back of him, and Gabino trying to put Malrex under some pressure. Closest fight on track.
Yeah, Bestie's a bit wide, so that he'll be under pressure unless the Lexus dips into the pit lane. It looks like he's going to pip him on this front straight. Yeah, Bestie proven that, ooh, he's looking back down the inside. Not going to happen there in turn 1, but yeah, Bestie proven that if you just stay out of trouble, you can get a good result here. Already up into P12, I think it's P13 now, but yeah, keeping his nose clean, and P2, well, now P3 in the bronze class, so still a podium for him right now.
Is at the moment Cherry Moore is your bronze leader. Sorry, I said Bestie was earlier on. And the new feature for the Ford Mustang, the new Bob files, have put a 20% restrictor on that Ford Mustang. So it's crucial to see it's lost a bit of its top end at the moment because of that restrictor going onto it. We'll take a look at that in the next qualifying session, show what it's got, but it also then has changed on the weight it carries. Malarek's into the pits, he's done his stop. Privet into the pits. Has Hunt managed to get past them? Yes, he has. So has Lino. Kieran Argent's coming past now. Malarek's about to come off his limiter just now as Argent goes flying through, so Argent's also passed him there. Back to the action though. Old Sim on the back of Cherry Moore. Millington really on the back of Brian Craig. Brian Craig started to come on as the season progressed. Last time out, what can he do though? Brand new car for Brian Craig this year to keep our eyes on. Williams though has not been dropped by Benny Varga, has he? 0.3 of a second. Varga's got the fastest lap of the race at the moment, but so far Williams sticking with him and matching everything Varga's doing.
Yeah, very impressive from the both of them. Keep calm, keep cool. Let's see what happens with that. And yeah, I think Millington is eager to get up the field, but he might have a penalty staring him in the face later after this race. But yeah, he's moved up a few positions yet. I think for Williams or Varga, it's who blinks first. You don't want to pit into traffic, but you also want to get that undercut. And I think there's a few open spaces on track. I'm just not sure if it'll be in clean air. But yeah, Williams now has the fastest lap, and he's all over the back of Benny Varga still.
This is the problem though, all over the back of him. Where's he going to get the job done? Hard to overtake round here through Shell Oils towards the Britain chicane. They come once more. Benny Varga, big BMW M4 to fend off that of the McLaren of Williams. Very easy to defend around Oulton Park. It's whether you buckle under the pressure or not. Beto trying to hunt down Cherry Moore. Now this is for the lead in bronze. Bestie's still just hovering around in the background as well, just under a second to Beto at the moment. We then got Broom trying to get onto the back of Tucker with that lovely Nissan of Michael Johnson behind him. Out to the guys who've done the pit stops. Benny Archer looks like that could be the first retirement of the season. That'll carry a qualifying banter next week. And look at that, the Honda got a poor run out the Britain chicane. Nissan's not close enough. Can he be by the time they hit the brakes? No, he cannot. Into the Hislop chicane they go. They stay as they was, but Williams gap under 0.3 of a second. Looks a little bigger than it has been now, so must have made a mistake somewhere. But this fastest lap could be ebbing and flowing between Varga and Williams. Like you say, Langley, it's who decides to blink first.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, Cherry Moore's Ferrari looks a lot like mine from last season. I'm seeing double when I keep looking at that fight. But yeah, Bedison's all over the back of him on this front straight. The Lexus might have the legs on him, but not much of a, or not back straight, front straight across the line. And the Lexus might have the legs on the Ferrari quite a bit, but around this track, it doesn't really matter. There's not many straights, and it's usually followed by a few tight corners.
Indeed it is, as Millington and Broom decide to jump into the pit lane, as does Sturrock. So keep our eyes on your net pit leader, which is out of Hunt at the moment. Where is he on the circuit? Car number 68, just approaching the final corner. Spinner, 105, yellow flag. That is Rob Smith having a moment on the outside of turn number 1. Where is his Honda? Got to look for the Honda badge now, because a lot of people have changed. So he's done his pit stop. He's had a moment. So sadly, he is lost out there to a few of the lead cars at the moment. Mike Hunt is through. Millington, though, did he stop? Got away. Did he come out ahead of Hunt? No, he did not. And that, then, I believe, is that... so Hunt's through. Lino is who it is. Got to learn these new cars and new names. But Millington stays ahead of Lino into Cascades. A little wide on the entry. Millington stays in front of Lino there. Then it's a second in terms of the guys who have done their pit stop. Leaders separated by half a second. Taylor, 0.4 of a second off the back of Williams. Taylor looks re-energised in that McLaren this season. Looks like he's came to fight this year. Pro-Am champion back in season 2 of the Project Cars 2 days 5 years ago, or 4 years ago should I say. So he's one that we're going to keep our eyes on. Bales to the pit lane now, so he's decided to call that one into the box. Could be a good decision there, just as he was catching traffic. Johnson on the back of Tucker. We see that of is that Privet, I think, in front, who's a lap down at the moment. Old Sim also comes into the pits. Good evening to Tech Leader in the chat. Hope you're well, buddy. And both of these two decide to bring it into the pit lane. Pit entry here, Langley, as well. Very tight. You've got the wall just sticks out a little bit as you enter the pit entry. Very tight and very sharp in terms of braking to get it slowed down.
Yeah, you're reminding me I probably need to practice that for tomorrow because I haven't practiced it yet, and just watching some of the cars come to the pit lane already, not sure where they're braking, maybe brake a little too early. Obviously it's better to brake early than too late. You don't want to be speeding, you'll carry quite a hefty penalty with that. So yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to get right, as is most pit lanes. I think one of the most difficult ones in my opinion was Laguna Seca, to get it slowed down because you have a turn while you're on the pit limiter. But yeah, a little kink, as you said, or a little wall that pops out. I'm still watching to see if Williams or Varga blinks first. I mean, they're neck and neck, they're nose to tail. It's seeing double from last season, 2 cars running away from the others, and just seeing who's going to blink first.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Old Sim's just come out right in front of Steve Millington there from
Williams in the pits.
As Andrew Taylor came out ahead of them all. So Williams blinks first. Is the undercut going to be what wins in this race? Let's keep our eyes on it. Peckman currently running in 11th place. He's gaining on the back of John Andrews. Great run from John Andrews here already in this first race of the season. Great to see from these guys at the moment. This could be fantastic. See what John Andrews can do. Back fit and healthy, running 10th place. Peckman, bit of damage. DJ Phil Atherton is then in P12 thus far, so let's see what he can do as well. But a battle between Millington and Old Sim, as well as then Lino and Kieran Argent having a fight in this race. They're all pitted at the moment, and Lino goes wide on the exit of Knickerbrook. Argent follows him. That's going to compromise his run. Malarex chasing down Best down in 21st at the moment. Not everybody is pitted though. 4 minutes left. The drivers have got to do that pit stop as Williams is in. He's on his way out. Where is Hunt? Just coming through the final corner. Keep your eyes on that P next to Williams' name. Doesn't matter because it's gone. He's back out on track, and he's got such a clear run in front of him. The next car is at the Shell Oils hairpin, so Williams has got a lovely clear track in front.
Yeah, he's got to drop the hammer, as you know. You would say hammer time, right?
Yep.
He's got to drop the hammer this lap, put down the pace, and jump Benny Varga if he can. But he brushed the wall. I don't know if you caught it. He brushed the inside wall going into the pits. I mean, it wasn't a hard hit. He barely brushed it, but he'll have at least a second or two of damage from that. So we'll see if that compromises him at all. It shouldn't be too much because it was just a brush, not a hit. So, but yeah, he has that clean air now, so he needs to put the pedal to the metal, and we'll see if Benny Varga reacts right away or if he stays out, tries to push the clean air
himself. Just started for another lap at the moment. He's gaining on car number 18, so Benny Varga's about to hit traffic sooner than what that of Williams will do at the moment. Battle for 8th place though at the minute. John Andrews, DJ Phil Atherton, Simcoe, all in this little fight for P8. None of them have pitted just yet. John Andrews just a little too wide out the exit of the Knickerbrook right-hander there. Phil now coming under increasing amounts of pressure from that of Simcoe. They've got Hunt, who is your no longer the net pit leader because Williams is right behind them all as well. So this is all for position, except Hunt knows that these guys haven't pitted. He's got past Simcoe pretty easy. DJ Phil, you can tell he's on the pad, very twitchy there. Wolski's in the pits. He's on his way out. Brian Craig's in. So is Cherry Moore. John Andrews has a moment on the exit of the corner. Phil gets through, and Hunt, I think, tapped John Andrews, or did John Andrews turn sharply? Either way, he's in the pit lane. This is then Taylor trying to get past the pit runner of Simcoe as well, and Taylor gets on through as he hunts down after Mike Hunt as well, and we'll see if he can get that one done. At the minute, Hunt trying to get past Phil Atherton thus far and cannot do so as they come through Cascades for the 7th time of asking. They're all on the lead lap. Benny Varga approaching the end of his current run, gaining on car number 18. That
he needs to
is
pit.
Diego Flores. He's got to pit this time. He might be able to pit after this lap because he'll get one more in, but he'll start the last lap in the pit lane. This will be very tight for Benny Varga and the other 5 drivers who are yet to pit. Then we'll see if Benny comes in. He's in now. So crucial for Williams. Hunt, though, under pressure now from Taylor into the Britain chicane. Taylor will know this circuit very, very well, as will Hunt. And it's all about what Phil Atherton does here. He's not in this race effectively. He's out of sync because of the pit stops. Stays to the racing line. Hunt's going to look up the inside. Taylor's going to try around the outside of his lop chicane. Can't do anything there. Old Sim and Millington having a fight as well. So tasty battles developing here at the end of race 1.
Yeah, and I think we're on, or we will be on the final lap because Benny Vargas crossed the line, but by the time they both come out, I believe it should be the final lap. So
well, Benny Vargas now exiting the pit lane. Sorry, Langley, but here comes Williams down the start straight. Vargas just off the limiter, so he's away. Williams will see him emerge as he comes through turn 1. There he is. Vargas extends his lead in this race, so Williams couldn't get the undercut done. Great drive from him there. Phil Atherton is pitted. Hunt has pulled away from Taylor. And what is happening in the old Sim Millington battle? They've also got that of Lino in the background. Paul Williams as well as Argent. Simcoe hasn't yet pitted, so he has got to pit. In fact, no, that'll be him DQ'd from the or time penalty from this race, won't he? Because he's not going to have the time to get round and do a pit stop unless Benny Vargas could do one final flying lap, but I don't think he will. But what a fight we've got. What a train of cars from Old Sim Racer down. There is a gaggle of cars behind him coming in towards the Shell Oil's head.
yeah, like I said, it's going to be chaos, and I think Simcoe made a pit stop, but I just don't think he refueled, so that's a mental error on his part, but I could be wrong with that. Looks like Benny Vargas is going to take the win, although Sam Williams, it looks like he's quicker. He keeps closing down.
Oh, moment! Sorry, Gray. Old Sim's got on the curb, had a twitch, bang into the side of Millington, puts Millington in the wall. Old Sim's now lost out to Lino and Williams and possibly even Kieran Argent, thinking of looking up the inside. No, he can't. So, bit of a moment there for Old Sim, puts Millington in the wall. Is this going to be the final lap, though? Because Benny Vargas comes to the final corner now. Will he get to that line in 8 seconds? Not a chance, I don't think. So Benny Vargas is going to take the first race win of the season. Crosses the line now. No, he does get one last lap in. He's got one last lap in at the very end. So Simcoe could do his pit stop and Vargas goes for one more.
Wow, that was close, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, I thought the race was over. Hopefully everyone has enough fuel.
Yeah, that's a very valid point because that was right on the 15-minute cusp there. So hopefully everybody's put enough fuel in the car. We could see an interesting race at this very end. I wonder why Vargas just didn't have a slight little lift. Either way, this is going to give us a great fight from Paul Williams down now as Old Sim Racer was wide out of turn 1. That's allowed Kieran Argent into the top 10. Simcoe's in the pit, so he does get his pit stop done. Johnson on the back of Tucker with Gabino with him as well. We've also got Greaves down in 27th behind Phil Atherton. Not the race for him. A DNF for Benny Archer in this first race. But Benny Vargas, there's a yellow flag. That's car number 58. Who is car number 58? That is John Andrews down in 29th. So he's had a moment coming through towards the Shell Oil's hairpin. But Benny Vargas not really under the pressure from Williams. Taylor trying to challenge Hunt on this final lap. We've then got the battle behind Williams. No, we haven't, because Lino and Argent have both got past him, and Old Sim. They've all got past him here. So has Brian Craig and Beto. But we'll go back to Benny Vargas. Now to the final corner. Looks like he's now going to take that race win and start his season off in the M4 in great fashion. Possible favourite for this championship this year. Benny Vargas wins here in race 1. Williams will take second place and fastest lap. Wolski will come home for a solid third place. Great start to his season. Unsworth back with a bang. P4 for him in this first one. Great drive from Unsworth. Hunt, defending Constructors champion, has just managed to get it out the final corner. Will stay ahead of Taylor, and he will bring it home for P5. Taylor P6. Lino will come across the line for P7 ahead of Argent. Old Sim, Brian Craig P10. Bronze winner for Bettison in this one. Paul Williams 12th from Millington 13th. Ian Best second place, his first ever podium at SimPlay Motorsport in P14. Second in bronze. Malorex third in bronze, 15th overall. And then it's Michael Johnson in 16th place to cross the line before Tucker. So he got past Tucker at the end, although Tucker looks a little slow. Dronelander was gaining on him. He's P18, Broom P19, Gabino P20 from Flores 21st, Cherry Moore in 22nd place. Simcoe didn't do his stop, so he obviously didn't add fuel. So he pitted, didn't do the correct stop. So he's still going to get that time penalty. That could help Rob Smith and John Andrews. Peckman 23rd. Phil Atherton just going to fend off Greaves for 24th and 25th. As we await for Privet, Sturrock and Simcoe to finish this race. What an opener.
Yeah, championship hopeful statement, as we both suspected. But I'll be honest, I didn't expect Williams to be that close the entire race. I mean, I know he's quick on his day, but the consistency shown that race, I think he just had a bit of trouble in the pit stop cycle, and I think that's what cost him. But he looked like the quicker car that race. He was all over the back of Varga for the first part, and I think he had trouble in the pit stop, so he lost a few seconds, and then he gained time back after Benny Varga came out the pit lane again. So I think Williams is the fastest car here, or fastest driver here, and
I wonder if
I think
you said he brushed the wall, Gray. So I wonder then if he's repaired that second or two of damage that you say he may have got. He's definitely had a slower pit stop. So if he's brushed the wall, maybe he's repaired the damage, and that's what's put him so far back. But what a start! Class in the chat. Are the separate championships between Pro, Gold and Platinum? Yes, they are. Benny Varga, yes, PN. Hope I can continue. Yep, so Platinum and Gold, their own championships. Points for overall, but they will be their own championships, so you can try and get a race win, podiums, fastest laps, pole positions, and that outright championship. We, though, will be back in a few moments' time with race 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. Hope you all well and enjoyed that first race. We're back underway for qualifying 2. Don't forget, next week will be the start of the reverse grids, as well as then the only the one qualifying. So drivers down to 7 tyres. So see how many tyres drivers are through here. We've lost John Andrews momentarily. He's just had an internet problem. His internet's gone down, so he's hoping to be back in for this second race. But already, what a start to the season. What I will do is I'm going to read through the championship standings, not the overall tables. I'm going to just read through the championship standings of the category tables, because obviously the categories are going to be different. And this is really where the gaps are going to open up in these category championships. So Varga leads away by 6 points from Williams. Wolski's 12 points behind. Then it's Unsworth from Mike Hunt. Andrew Taylor. Lino from Argent. Oulton, Brian Craig. Williams, Millington. Bettison then finished, don't forget, before Williams and after Brian Craig. So Bettison scored more points than Williams. This is where it gets interesting. 6 points between Williams and Craig. Millington's 12th because of where Bettison finished, apologies. Johnson 13th, Dronelander 14th, Broom Gabino, Flores Peckman, Greaves Jimenez. Jimenez not here this week. Davis not here. Cummins, Nuke Waste, Gary Leach, Catherine Lane, and Tyler de Block. And then in bronze, it is Bettison, who is 10 points clear of Bestie because of the cars he had in between him and Bestie. As Vargas had a spin on his opening flying lap, so that's going to be an interesting one. Got to be cautious to get that back going, and he does so. Malrex is third from Tucker, Cherrymore, Atherton, Privet, Simico, Sturrock, Andrew, Smith, Archer, Darren, Bell. Now, we worked out in the break that Sturrock took the fastest lap in bronze, so he got the extra point for fastest lap there. So this is already, Langley, turning out to be an interesting championship to see between these classes. Them bronze drivers mixing it with the silvers is what's going to really depend on the bronze and where people are going to finish in silver championships.
Yeah, exactly. You saw Betterson. He was up in P5 in quali, but then he had a rough start. Still, that's going to create some gaps in both championships. I think it'll be more of an impact in the bronze in this case championship. If you finish 5 spots ahead of P2 and bronze, that's a massive points gain. Whereas silver, you have less points as you go down the order, so there still will be gaps, but not as impactful in terms of championship. But yeah, Benny Varga has a spin on his opening lap. Like you said, I think he'll be fine. It just shows he's pushing the limits, I think. But yeah, I think eyes to keep out on is Sam Williams. I know he picked up P2, but like I said, I really did not expect the pace of that.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned while we were gone, Benny Varga almost had traffic before pitting. There will be traffic. Doesn't matter when you pit in this race. So that will have a massive impact no matter what. It doesn't, there's no good place to let someone by here, really. I mean, you can say the front straight, but let's be honest, because of the traction zones and how much you pull in traction, there's just no ideal long straight to let someone by. But still, I mean, you got to adhere to blue flags, but that doesn't always happen. And even when drivers do adhere to blue flags within the amount of blue flags they're allowed, you can still lose a second, sometimes 2 seconds, especially on the Pro-Am grid where you have silvers doing near pro times, or the top of silver doing near pro times, and the back of the grid going a second or 2 slower sometimes. It's not as much of an effect in pro because the grid is very squished, so much closer, but in this, it'll have a massive impact. It is very difficult if you don't have a compliant back marker, basically.
100%, yeah, 100%. And this is where, and for those who don't know the ruling on the back markers, it is 3 corners. It is not 3 marshal's posts, it's 3 corners, but we have to play this smart. The chicanes count as 1. That is not 1 and 2, or for the 3-way chicanes, it's not 1, 2, and 3. It is 3 corners. So chicanes count as 1 effectively. Good evening to Michael Harris in the chat. This is going to be crucial here because if there's any track you don't want to lap anybody. Now, don't forget, we have the rule for Bathurst where there is no lapping cars down the mountain because it becomes too narrow. On this kind of circuit, you know, it is really key for these back markers to try and not mess up the leader's race as they go through their sessions. It's going to be a crucial one. It really is going to be an interesting one to see what happens. Wolski currently with a 34 dead. Beto up in second place. And Benny Volger only third at the moment. Did he hurt his tyres with that spin? But look at that. Johnson's qualifying. I said in the break that he never seems to qualify. Well, he is now. He's up in P5 as Greaves now goes into P number 5. Brian Craig will be the next car to set a time. It's going to be crucial. These back markers are going to play a role in this race, you'd imagine, at the moment. Either way, we're in for
Merc just went off.
Race.
I think Sturrock just went off and had a big moment at turn 1. Greaves up in P5. That's more like it from him. He was the lead 4Q driver last year, and he finished P3 in the championship. I thought he was going to be a lot higher up the grid in race 1.
Sorry, Benny Volger just taking the pole there.
Still 3/10 off his first qualifying time. We have 5 more extra minutes in this qualifying session, so he still has time to match or beat what that is. But Wolski a lot closer, Betterson a lot closer, both breaking the 34s. Williams still outside the 34, or still in the 34s. Not in the 33s yet, but I think he'll be there sooner or later. I am noticing, since Benny Varga had a spin, and why I think it's slower, he got a little bit more traffic, and Williams definitely is in traffic. And I know firsthand that when you are one of the quicker drivers, you're always catching traffic.
Is it worth sacrificing a lap to get in that clear air?
Sometimes it definitely is. I think towards the end of the season, I did it quite often. Clean air is everything. And I haven't mentioned yet, the temperature is quite cool. I mean, I'm having to run my brake ducts quite close to keep the pressures up. And even though my car, the Ferrari, doesn't use a lot of curbs, I lose pressure because of how cool the track temp is. And if you don't drive fast enough, you're losing pressure all the time. So to get that clean air, and especially in my opinion to prep the tires on that outlap, because sometimes I'm watching these outlaps and they're going quick, like right out the box, and that's not always the best way to prep the tires. Because then it takes 2 laps really to warm them up. So sometimes it is worth it to go out last or to go out later, even though this track, there's almost with this many cars on this track, it's going to be hard no matter when you go out. So it's just, if you make a mistake one lap, so what? That lap didn't happen. You just get your head down and you do it again.
Yeah, indeed. Michael Harris in the chat saying the Lexus around here is a dream. Loved it from a few seasons back. And Caitlin in the chat says hello to everybody, so good evening to yourself. What a qualifying session we have in hand. You pulled up the SimBot, didn't you, during that break as well? Benny Volger set the 15th fastest lap time around here out of all the lap times that's been set from past seasons, past events in the GT3 category. 15th fastest. That shows how good that qualifying lap was in Q1.
It was 15th fastest this week. Sorry,
this week.
Not Alta. This but since the server's been open this week, that is still the 15th quickest time out of all drivers in the servers, and we have near 100. So that's still, I mean, at that point it's a pro time. But like I said, in this category or in Pro-Am, there's no reason he'd go up to pro, because that'd just be punishing him. But he just needs to show that consistency race after race, as I talked about before the start of race 1. And that's what's going to put him in the championship fight.
We've got pro coming tomorrow night, so that may tumble down from 15th. But at the minute, from testing into this qualifying session, 15th fastest. He's just gone and done another lap. No improvement for him on that one. Let's find
Williams, only 700s.
9. I can see coming round. Yeah, that is mighty close. That's nothing. Williams has got to find next to nothing in this qualifying session.
Yeah, I think he had I'm not sure what the corner's called. It's the downhill left-hander with the bump under braking in the first sector. It looked like he had a bit of an oversteer moment there on that lap. So if he can just be clean through there, I think he can get this. But yeah, there's still plenty of time to improve for everyone out on track. Argent up into P5 as well. That's great for him.
Heck of a qualifying at the moment. Millington's running P6. Good qualifying for him, better than his first one. Who we've got coming to the line, 22. So Argent's back coming towards the line now. So he's on his latest flying run. Good evening to Berserker in the chat and to Matthias Class as well. Good evening, everybody who is currently watching. What a qualifying session we are in for. 9/10 separating the top 7. And then from, in fact, as Kieran Argent. Well, hello, where did that just come from? I thought Benny Varga looked like he could have had pole position set, but Kieran Argent pulls it out the bag here in qualifying 2.
He told me yesterday that he can't improve off of a 34.5. Well, he's just gone a second faster than that. So yeah. I have no idea where. I mean, maybe he found the Ferrari. I mean, that is a brilliant time. 33.5 is incredible. That's only 0.2 off of what Benny Varga did in the first qualifying, but that puts him pole right now. From out of nowhere, he improved near a second from his time.
That was impressive. Lino's just moved up to 50th. I do not know where that has come from. He has been complaining about that Ferrari and about its... Kieran always likes to ride the curbs. He's really had to adjust how he drives this season, but to put a 10.5 nearly between himself and Benny Varga, that is a heck of a lap time. As Varga's just come out the pit lane, so he's only going to get one run in, but needs to stay out the way of everybody on a flying lap. Kieran Argent, to do that 15 minutes in, that is impressive.
Yeah, that I mean... Yeah, he was in the BMW last season. Benny Varga was too, but that BMW, like I said earlier, is very good on curbs, especially on this track. The Ferrari does not suit this track. That's why it has, I believe, -9 bop on it, because you cannot take the curbs as well. You kind of have to force it in quali to get the lap time, but definitely in race pace it can be tricky because it unsettles the car, it puts you offline. So the fact that he's pulled that out the bag, I know for sure that's his fastest time all week. But he did it when it mattered most, and whether Benny Varga or Sam beat that time, I think he's looking at a top 3 start regardless.
100%. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Here comes Mike Hunt at the minute. To the line goes and doesn't improve at the moment. The 94. That is that of Williams. Can Williams get any closer? No, he cannot. So he'll have to go once again. We then turn our attention to the 680 down the order. That is Lino, currently 15th place. To the line, Ego stays in P15. The 107, that is Wolski, needs just under half a second to take that pole away from Kieran Argent. Him and Argent had a few scraps on track last season. No improvement from Wolski there in this one either. As Clouden says, where on earth did that come from? Mega lap that, wow, says Harris. Is it really Kieran driving, says Fury's granddad. And mate, he was in the 34s last night. That is crazy. Indeed, it is crazy. I don't think anybody's expected that from Kieran Argent at all. 19 of Gabino, lovely looking black and blue livery there on his car. He's about to come to the line to complete his next run. The 114 will be after him. That is Unsworth. Gabino stays P16. What can Unsworth do? 1.3 off the back, goes up to P6, finds near enough 0.7 of a second on that run. Heck of a lap that. The 163, that is that of Old Sim Racer, down in 20th, only improves to 19th. As Argent comes across the line, doesn't improve, but we'll get one final run in.
Williams is done. He ran wide, and he won't be able to get another lap in, so it's maximum P3 for him. Only one that can pip Argent at the moment is Benny Varga, it seems like.
That's incredible to think that Kieran Argent, where did he qualify race one? He was 7th or 8th or something like that. Now he's down.
Benny Varga's off. P1. That's going to be it.
So Varga's off. The only man really then close enough to challenge him could be Richard Bettison. Is he on a lap time? We'll see in a moment. Hunt.
No, he's in the pits.
He's in the pits. So Argent could be on for pole position. Can Andrew Taylor, his former teammate, do anything about it? No, he can't, loses the rear. Here comes Phil Atherton then, down the order in his Lamborghini at the moment. He decides to return to the pit lane. Who is the 180? That is Paul Williams. 0.8 of a second off the back of Argent. Could he upset the party for Quantum Motorsport here, leaving where Langley left off by trying to take pole position for the Quantum Motorsport boys? Williams could upset the party. 0.8 is a huge margin to find. Williams to the line, no improvement there. 186. Keep your eyes on that number changing across the line. That was Cherry Moore, moves up to P14, so it's only the 163 left on the circuit at the moment.
Wow.
And no, that's it. Job done. So he must have been validated. Kieran Argent's pole.
Wow. If he Quantum's picking up right where they were last season, I guess. It sounds more simple than it really is. I cannot believe that, and as I can see from most of you in chat, you can't believe it either. He was in the 34s all week. He hadn't brushed the 33s, and now he's just a 33.5 out of nowhere when it matters most. I will say the Ferrari has a bit of turbo lag off the start. It's going to be tricky to keep that BMW behind, especially if Varga can hold it around the outside. But if he gets off the line and he stays consistent this race, it is so hard to overtake. He is in prime position for not only a podium, a race win, and I don't think either of us saw that coming.
No, not at all. None of us saw that coming. And the thing for Argent, and this is a thing he's not been able to do over the seasons, he's got to get out his head. He's got to not overthink this. I've known Argent for many a year. He's been here as well since day one. He's just got to get out his own head when it comes to this race start, and especially to then the race carrying on in this one. I think he could do this. I'm going to get a poll up in a moment for who you think will take the race win. I'm just currently inputting the stats for qualifying 2. But Benny Varga now, so led from the start in race 1, he's the man who has all of a sudden got to do some attacking here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Williams still has better race pace. We'll see. It might have been because he was following Varga, but I'm still shocked by that. I can't believe that personally, and I mean, I can't be happier for him because, like you said, he's in his head a lot, and he has that pace, and you can agree with me. This Pro-Am field is quicker than it's ever been these last 2 seasons. So to take a pole position, incredible, absolutely incredible.
Don't forget, Betterson takes his second pole of the evening in that Lexus then, so he gets another pole position for the bronze category then. So I'll give him 2 extra points already in this race, and that's his second pole ever at SimPlay Motorsport. Not an outright pole, but it all counts for something. Just reading the chat, Benny Varga, hats off to Argent. What a lap. Berserker GGs, they are so close. Robert Ramsell, whoa, let's go Argent. Great quality session. Certainly some surprises there. 100% some surprises. Now let's just, before we get a poll up, let's take a look. So you can see the handicap on these cars. You can see the BOP. If there's no handicap, that means they don't have any BOP, balance of performance, around this circuit. If we get down to the first Ford Mustang, you'll see that the Ford Mustang now loses 11 kilograms around here, but has that 20% next to its name. That is the restrictor that we mentioned in race 1. That is what the Ford's got to deal with all season long. Some tracks it's 19, some tracks it's 20. The weight then differs in terms of what track it is, but yeah, that is obviously hampered the Mustang in its straight line speed, but not in other aspects of the car. It's made it a bit better on other aspects of the car, braking and handling through corners. So I've been told by a few drivers driving it this season. We're getting a poll out at the moment for who you think will win this race. 3 drivers plus an other. If you pick other, please comment who you think it will be. Class says this track is unforgiving, very unforgiving. Who are you going for in this one? Look, Gray.
Man, my head says Benny Varga, but who doesn't love an underdog story? Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, I really want Argent. It's gonna be hard. It's an hour race, and it's gonna be mentally tough. But I really want Kieran Argent to get away well and just have a solid start. I mean, I would love to see him pull this one out, and I know you would too. I mean, we all have our small biases, and we try to be as unbiased as we can in commentary, but it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone loves an underdog story. 100%. So if he can squeak this out, I'd be over the moon. It'd be a brilliant race to watch. But we're about to get going here. I'm going to hand it over to you, Matt.
Well, Kieran Argent has 11 race wins in 5 years of SimPlay Motorsport racing. His last race win was the reverse grid sprint race at Zandvoort last season. He's got 52 podiums to his name. He's tied with Andy of old and Max Mulder of old. Can he get that off his back tonight? Could he get his first win of the season? It's round number 2 of Oulton Park, live here in Cheshire. We are green and go, and it's a better start for Benny Varga, but Argent sticking that nose still there. He's still up that inside. Breaks a little later than Benny. Tries to hold it around the inside line, but Varga just drives around him, and Argent stopped it. He's bounced off the wall. He's already off. So it's already a disaster for Kieran Argent at turn number 1.
Oh man, he's just got to keep his head in the game. That's all he's got to do. He knows he has a pace. He's got to keep his head in the game. The damage isn't going to end his race, so he's just got to keep his head in the game. I'm looking back further in the field. It looks pretty clean compared to last race. So yeah, hopefully Argent can keep level-headed and can get back at him. He hasn't lost too many positions.
He hasn't at all. There was a couple of spinners. Gabino was one of them. I think it was Privet, the other one. Williams lost out to that of Wolski at the start, so it's Varga from Wolski from Williams. Then it's Beto, Unsworth, Millington, Kieran Argent, 7th. He's off again! He's off at the chicane! It's gone horribly wrong for Kieran Argent. Johnson's about to look up the inside of Hunt into the Hislop chicane. Job done there for him. But Kieran Argent's race has gone from bad to worse on the opening lap. Pole has not turned into the dream win or podium he'd have wanted. He is all the way down. Well, we'll see when they come through the second sector time, but that is not the start he needed just as we was going through. So it's Johnson 7th, Hunt 8th, Taylor 9th, Peckman 10th from Greaves, Cherry Moore, Brian Craig, Lino from Dronelander just behind him as they all come through. Druids, Williams, Tucker, Malarex. Then it's Bestie, Sturrock, Flores, Rob Smith, Phil Atherton, Benny Archer, Broom, Olsim racer there. Privet, Argent down in 28th, then Simcoe and Gabino bringing up the rear, but Argent 3rd from last. The drivers can pit on the opening lap, by the way. That is purely acceptable. There is no pit window in these. Oh, in fact, is there a pit window? I don't think there is, no, because it would have been on in race 1. So no pit window for these drivers to attack this race here. This could be juicy, but Varga has the lead he dreamed of going into this race, and we've got Unsworth attacking the back of the bronze leader at the moment, Richard Bettison.
Yes, and I'm not sure if you said it, Wolski got ahead of Williams at the start as well, and he's in P2 right now. I think Williams has a bit more pace, but that BMW I think is a better car around here overall. But we'll see, because Williams now going side by side in the chicane on the exit. Got pushed a little wide from Wolski, but still side by side, I think, coming down into the second chicane. Can't make a move.
No, can't make a move at the moment. This is an interesting battle. Wolski trying to hang on in there. Williams and Varga pulled away from him in race 1. So we'll see what Williams can do here. Hunt trying to get onto the back of Johnson, but can't at the moment. He's got Taylor behind him in a great battle. Peckman side by side with Greaves through Knickerbrook. They go. And up Clay Hill. Peckman will have the inside line for Druids. Side by side. Porsche versus McLaren as Greaves bounces off the curbs. This could put Cherry Moore into the box seat. No, it can't now. And they stay as they was. Peckman, sorry, they don't stay as they was because Peckman got ahead of Greaves.
Oh man, it looked like his car went all 4 off the ground there. I don't think I've hit that curb before. Maybe I'll avoid it tomorrow.
Somebody, I can't remember who hit it in what
flying.
series, but somebody went off. May have been GT4s the other year. Somebody had a big moment doing that same thing in the GT4s. Dronelander fending off from Paul Williams at the moment. What's Kieran Argent's progression like? Well, he's up to 26th. He's on the back of Rob Smith now currently. But Benny Varga would have dreamed for that start, wouldn't he? He's well out in front at the moment.
Yeah, and I think his biggest challenger is behind another car right now. So, and I think Bettison's dropped down the order just a bit as well. He was in P4, now in P7. I'm not sure what happened there, but Hunt all over the back of him now.
Yeah, Hunt all over the back of Bettison, and we've got then just behind that of Peckman, who's Peckman's ahead of Greaves. Cherry Moore's fighting Greaves with Brian Craig. A flash of the lights from Hunt to Bettison. Bronze leader still. He's got Taylor with him just behind him as well in the Audio Sport car. Audio Sport having a great start to their season at the moment in Pro. Yellow flag at the Shell Oils hairpin. That is the 777 of Malarex, who's had a moment. Oh no, you'll never guess who's off with him.
It's
Kieran Argent.
It's just gone. It's gone from bad to worse to ugly.
Yeah.
I really hope he can clear his head from this round. I know I've said to multiple people that this track is so difficult. It's so challenging. It's a tough mental track, especially doing how many laps we'll be doing here. I've said that I'm already prepared to clear my head if things go wrong tomorrow, because it's just round one. It's only round one. You still have 9 rounds to go, and well, 2 races each round, so you still have 18 races left this season. So there's plenty time. Championship's not over. No one's out of it. So
No.
it's best to clear your head. I mean, he can still get points in this race too.
Dronelander's just gone up the inside of Lino at Cascades. That's put Lino on the back foot because he was so wide. And Paul Williams is now going to try and get past him. Dronelander's going to have a look up the inside of Brian Craig at the kink. No, he doesn't. Backs out of that on the grass. As there's a car off. That's the Porsche of Greaves. Well off. And he's into the wall. As now Dronelander being attacked by Lino once again. Now at the Shallows hairpin.
It's another car off.
And that's Dronelander
I
done
think
very well. Who's off?
Flores also off, right behind Greaves.
So Flores off.
I think they're both at the same point. Greaves trying to make sure the track's clear before rejoining.
I think Malarex has had a moment as well. Here comes Kieran Argent. Flores back onto the track. That'll just be right in front of Argent. He gets back going. Argent might get 2 places here. So that may be 2 back. Surprised Argent hasn't pulled it into the pitch, to just get any damage repaired on that car that he needs to. But yeah, interesting one though. Back to the fight, Dronelander Lino. Good little battle this. We've also got Taylor on the back of Hunt developing quite nicely. And Johnson is being attacked by Beto with Millington and Unswift just up the road. But Williams, fastest lap of the race at the minute. And he's trying to hunt down Wolski. The problem is he's staring at the back of another BMW.
Exactly. If he wants to win this race, he's going to have to get by 2 BMWs. Not the easiest feat. The BMW, like I said, can take curves, but it is quite decent in a straight line still. So, it's going to be hard to overtake in that McLaren.
Going to be very hard to overtake in that McLaren. God, I hope for a mistake from Wolski at some point because, as we've said all night, overtaking is very difficult. Johnson has got past Bettison now, so Johnson up into 7th place in Godzilla. Taylor still on the back of Hunt. We've got Brian Craig. Look at he's 6 tenths off of Cherry Moore, and then it's Lino, Dronelander and Williams and Sturrock. Very close as Lino take it to the grass to get past Brian Craig. Can't do it. Tucks back in. That's what Dronelander did, and that's what allowed Lino up the inside of the Shallows hairpin last lap. Now it's Rolls reverse, but Dronelander cannot get through at the moment. Maybe a wheel problem, says Berserker. I doubt it. He only got a new one towards the back end of last season, so I do highly doubt that one, but we'll wait and see. Old Sim and Gabino on the back of Benny Archer having a little squabble here then. And Old Sim getting close, bouncing over the curb. Gabino's going to get through. What about Rob Smith, former teammate of Old Sim? He's now on the grass on exit. And Neil Broom not close enough right now to get anything done. Kieran Argent still on the back of Greaves. Flores not a million miles behind in this race so far. Closest fight on the circuit. Johnson charging in that Nissan on the back of Steve Millington.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to keep tabs on Williams. It looks like he's pushing Wolski through some of these corners, but like we just said a lap ago, it's going to be hard to make an overtake unless the car in front makes a mistake. I know he made one earlier, a slight one, hopping over the curb, but couldn't take advantage then, so he's basically got to wait until he makes another mistake.
Dronelander's made a mistake at the final corner because Williams has got past him, and now Sturrock looking to attack the rear of that Ferrari. Once again on board with Sturrock. This is on board Dronelander. Look at his view as he flashes the lights to Paul Williams there. That's a car off. That's Cherry Moore who's around, and he's off big time at Cascades. This will have to be a potential wait to get rejoin the track. Nope. Bit of a clear gap he's found there. Back through he goes, the 411. That is Benny Archer. In fact, Old Sims now has just gone off at Cascades as well. So he's gone well off down there. And that could allow a few cars through. I think he'll rejoin just behind Broom. Yes, he will indeed. So a few drivers just making mistakes. 2 cars down the back end of the field. Privet and Simcoe have only just come through turn number 1. And already Benny Varga's over half a lap to lapping them two, but he's 2.2 out in front is Benny Varga from this fight for second place. Williams, fastest man on the circuit at the moment compared to that of Wolski. P18 class for Phil looking really good. Could be more in this one as well at the moment because Phil could gain some more places. In terms of this, we're expecting drivers to run half and half fuel given the fact it is a 25-second window. But I'm noting that a couple of the drivers running in the 80 litres, not going to give away who they are, but 2 of them running in the 80 litres. That is an interesting call from them too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Cherry Moore had an issue I've experienced a couple times. Breaking down the hill into that corner, there's a massive bump
Yeah.
And it can unsettle the car so much. And once you're on the grass, you can't turn at all. And it's just multiple seconds of time loss and then trying to get yourself back on circuit. So that corner is a nightmare. It doesn't matter what your setup is, doesn't matter if you have stiff or soft suspension. It is a nightmare no matter what.
It is indeed, as we're looking back from Rob Smith's view now. Dronelander's got the run on that of Lino, coming down Lakeside in towards the kink here. In fact, is that going to be Paul Williams trying to get through at the kink? He is indeed, you know. Looking back now from Dronelander, Williams will have Lino on the inside line coming through the Shell Oils hairpin. Gets the better traction out the hairpin and gets the move done. Bit of a tap from Lino. Nothing comes of it though. And Williams through, as was Dronelander there. So a little mistake from Lino, allowing cars to get through. Taylor still on the back now of what says Peckman. But Peckman's actually made a mistake. So he's only coming through the Britain chicane as Andrew Taylor's coming through Knickerbrook. So Taylor is through and moves up into the top 10 once again. Williams looks to the right, jinks to the left, can't get it done. At the right-hander there, then he looks to get the up and under on Wolski. Has he got the momentum out the corner? He only needs to be bumper to bumper by turn 1 to be allowed through. Williams may have a look here into turn 1. Is he going to think of sending one? No, backs out of that one. Williams attacking Wolski now.
Yeah, beautiful move as you were watching there from Williams further down the field. I forget his name. I'm sorry. I'll learn names as the season goes on. But then onto the other Williams right away, all over the back of Wolski. But this is just helping Benny Varga. I mean, that 4-second gap is going to be no easy feat to close down once and if Williams gets past Wolski.
Yeah, indeed it will. We'll keep our eyes on that gap. There is a car in the pit lane. That is Lino, who's coming for his stop. Privet is also into the pits as well for his stop. Being told by Matt Wright on Discord that Argent has 1 minute 3 second pit stop due to damages. So that has really hurt his race. Lovely move from Williams there. Indeed it was. So Lino into the pits. Go back to Gabino, who's not as close as what it says on the timing tower. Benny Archer on the back of Old Sim at the moment. We've got Greaves with Argent right behind Phil Atherton then. And this is where it's going to be interesting this season, isn't it? Because, oh, that's Malarex off in the background. This is where, great, that drivers aren't fighting for class points. Is it Greaves then into the back of Phil Atherton and spins him round, slows right down as Argent gets through. That may be Greaves returning the place to Phil Atherton there then. Flores gets through and as Greaves is slow, nearly goes into the back of him, but Greaves going to return that place. But this is where the overall points are really going to play a huge factor, because you're not just fighting your class as Sturrock's now in the wall. But it's all happening out here at Oulton Park. You're not fighting just your class, you're fighting everybody.
That's a massive hit in the wall, and he's got to be careful rejoining.
Oh, Williams!
Does.
Williams has dropped in on the exit of turn 1. Is he round? Yes, he is. He's fully around. He has a half spin. He's pointing the wrong way. Has to reverse to get this one going back forward. Millington, Unswift, Johnson all go through, as does Bettison. Hunt and Taylor, his teammate, may come through. Yes, they do. So for Sam Williams, it's gone horribly wrong for him now.
Yeah, it has, and it's what we were talking about. What's going to put you in the championship fight? It's going to have to be consistency. It doesn't matter if you're super quick. I mean, P3 would have been brilliant either way. I mean, he's losing the rear end again. He's sliding all over the place. Needs to get those tire temps down. He can still salvage points here. He has fastest lap. He's in P9. You still get points, overall points. One result is not going to determine your championship. So you have to think of the long game. You have to think, okay, I made a mistake. So what? Just control what you can control now. Be consistent over a season's end. One position is not going to make a difference. And I know I made that mistake a couple times last year too. So he can still salvage something here.
He's only down to 9th. Still has that fastest lap. Wonder if it's worth pitting at this stage, Gray, to just get them tyres off, maybe put some fresh ones on, as we've got Sturrock, Greaves, Cherrymore and Simcoe into the pit lane then, as Privet and and Lino had already done their pit stops, but fights happening throughout and mistakes from drivers happening throughout. So we saw this last night, drivers making their own mistakes in this race, and that was what was interesting last night for me. A lot of drivers seem to make their own errors, and it's so easy to do around Oulton Park.
For sure, and I will say one of the drivers that might not be the quickest on the grid, but he's been dead consistent these last 2 races. Bestie down in P13. Once again, he finished P2 in the sprint race for the bronze class, and he's in P2 once again. He is doing exactly what we said. Might not be the fastest, but consistency is key, and consistency will get you the results that you want.
Yeah, he will indeed. As I'm just looking at the timing tower on my other monitor here. Last lap, we're on the fight between Unsworth, Millington and Johnson, all matching each other at the moment. So you feel that if Millington and Johnson got in front of Unsworth, they may be able to pull away. And could they catch Wolski? Varga was 2/10 quicker than Wolski last time around. So Wolski's not losing too much to Varga now that he's no longer under that pressure from Williams, and he's got no pressure from behind because that gap is 8 seconds. Andrew Taylor 5/10 off the back of Mike Hunt as well. Paul Williams 5/10 off the back of Brian Craig in this race. 6/10 for Benny Archer to Tucker. He's got Peckman within 3/10 behind him as well. But Lino, Greaves, Sturrock, Cherrymore, Privet have all done their stops. Simcoe hasn't. He's got a pit for the fuel in this race. But at the moment, a dramatic start. And let's not forget as well that drop scores are from round 1s to 8 now this season. It used to be 1 to 11 last year. It was 1 to 10 the season before. It's now 1 to 8 due to the only 10-week calendar, not the 12-week calendar. So drivers have less weeks to do to drop a round. Basically, if they have a bad round, that week will be dropped. So yeah, it is all about being consistent. But one round can be put in the bin. Throughout the season, that is always your lowest scorers. Millington is looking left, right, all over the back of Unsworth, coming through the kink in towards Shell Oil's hairpin once again. Millington wants to get past, knows he's faster at this point.
Yeah, and as you said with those drop scores, drivers have to realize this is one of the most difficult tracks on the calendar for sure. This, Mount Panorama, 2 of the most difficult in terms of keeping it clean throughout a 60-minute race. So you get a drop score, I mean, everything's still up for grabs, and one race doesn't define you, and that's going to have to be the mindset for everyone.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's going to be an interesting one to see what happens as they go through that. So Unsworth just a little bouncy over the curbs. Wolski's actually brought the gap down to 3.6 seconds, so maybe has a little more pace in the tank in this race at the moment than Benny Varga. Or is Benny Varga just managing his pace and his gap at the minute? Back down to Hunt and Taylor, who's having a little scrap, as well as down to Craig and Williams. That's just opened up to 9/10 of a second here then. Great start though at the moment. Michael Harris said that Williams did well to keep that out the wall. He did indeed. So easy to go in the wall there. Smith versus Broom, battle of the Hondas. We've got Tucker and Peckman as Peckman goes around the outside of Tucker in the braking zone of the Hislop chicane and goes too deep, cuts across the chicane. Move what he'd already done. That'll be interesting to see if he gives that one back. Williams though gaining on Brian Craig at the minute. Bathurst is hard for overtaking also. Indeed it is, especially up and down the mountain. Going to be crucial to get the move done before and after that. But in this race at the moment, we have had it blown wide open. We've had Argent making his mistakes. We've had Williams drop the car. Just very interesting to see what fights we're having out on the circuit. The 105's had a moment. That is Rob Smith, so he's lost a few places. Stays ahead of Phil Atherton. Just noticed the yellow flag on his name. That's now gone. So we're back to where we was. We're on board with Brian Craig and Paul Williams for 11th and 12th. And like you said about Bestie earlier on being consistent, he's been working in testing all week. He's been saying he's slower in Sector 2, and that's where he's really struggling and losing the time. But the interesting thing here is it's not about your pace around here, as you've said, Gray. It is all about, if you're on the tarmac, you're going to get results. We've seen drivers drop it last night. We've seen drivers drop it tonight, and that's the key thing. Exactly.
I mean, your pro and Darren Cup champion from last year made a mistake. I mean, if that's not enough proof, and that was from last night in the M2s, if that's not enough proof that this track is difficult, it's bumpy, it's mentally challenging, it is, I think besides Bathurst, I think it's the second, or I think it's the next hardest track on the calendar. And Sam Williams still has a chance to make up for his mistake. He has a ton of cars just a few seconds up the road from him. If he can close into his teammate Taylor, and then I would pop in the pits right about then, I mean, he still can get a top 5 in this race easily.
Yeah, 100%. He's got the pace to do so. Just seeing in the chat, I'm excited for every track except Donny from What I'm Racing. Donington is the home of SimPlay. So don't say that one. It's perfect for viewers. Indeed, it is berserker. Donny is the GOAT. Couldn't agree more with Michael Harris. Matthias Class is not looking forward to Kyle Army. He's never drove the track before. Kyle Army is beautiful circuit. Really beautiful circuit.
Wide track.
Illusory Pro is, I believe, Wellington Jimenez, who is a reserve this season. He loves Kyle Army because he has university that day. And O'Reilly really is human after all. Indeed he is. As Taylor gaining on the back of Hunt here, coming down towards the Hislop chicane. We were watching the Brian Craig Paul Williams fight. A few fights developing further back as well. Phil Atherton and Malarex within a tenth of each other. Lino's past Old Sim, so he's moved up a place. Old Sim yet to pit as well in this race. Argent 23rd. He's losing a bit of time to Flores, I do believe, because that gap was close. Or is he closing that gap? Let's take a look at the timing screens. No, he's actually gaining that gap. He was 1.4 seconds quicker last lap. This is the Malarex Phil Atherton fight, though. The bearded racing car versus the SC racing car. Lovely looking colour on that Aston Martin. Both kicking up a bit of dirt through there at the moment. As Jimenez says, he's just not strong at Donny. You had that problem last season, if I remember.
Yeah, just not. I don't know what it is with the British tracks. I'm just not that quick with them. It's the wrong type of red, white, and blue for me. So,
the best thing about the British tracks, bar Silverstone, obviously more for the F1, they are built so differently and unique, and that's what I love about the British circuits. They are a challenge to, one, overtake, and two, be very consistent on. But that is what gets you race wins around these circuits. If you're consistent on the British tracks, you'll have a good night for sure.
For sure, and I don't know if you see what I see. We mentioned it before the race started. I mean, that gap's grown to Wolski and Varga. It's now 6 seconds, but 63 just up the road. Looks like it's time for some traffic play, Matt.
Yeah, and who is the 63? So if we go down, that is Privet. So Simcoe in the pits, Privet. Now, about to be lapped, and if you look at what is he, 9 seconds from Cherry Moore, so in 9 seconds' time, Benny Varga, who's got past Privet, so that looks like it was nicely done, is a lot more traffic. We're on board, by the way, with Unsworth in P4 at the minute. Is it in P3? It's P3 at the minute. Wolski's just started his new lap. Unsworth is just coming through the last corner. Benny Varga's at turn 2 nearly. So Benny Varga has got a lot of traffic he's about to catch on to very soon.
I mean, how many cars is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and unfortunately within that train is the pole sitter of Kieran Argent, who he was side by side with through turn 1. So it's a shame, but I might sound like a broken record saying it sometimes, but it's just you got to clear your head and move. If you're Kieran Argent, you got to clear your head. You know you have the pace, but it doesn't matter if you have the pace or not. You want to know that you have the consistency before you have the pace. So get the consistency down first. I think a lot of drivers are result orientated and success orientated, where the process.
Sorry, that was very close between Taylor and Williams there. Coming on the eggs of the shallow as hairpin. Looked like Taylor was letting Williams go. Made contact several times last season. They paired together and they nearly touched in the opening week of this season. Thankfully, though, they did not, and they get through squeaky clean. So Williams, and if you look, there's Hunt. If you go down to Johnson, you'll actually be able to see when the camera pans around that you'll see Bettison, you'll see Hunt, and there is Williams. So Williams, not a million miles away from, like you say, being in that top 5 again.
Yeah, he gained 4 seconds to his teammate. Maybe his teammate will be, well, his teammate was quite nice to him, I think, let him by, as Williams is in P8 now, and that Porsche doesn't have the greatest straight line speed. It's probably one on the lower end of the grid in terms of which cars have good and worse straight line speed, so that might be a bit easier for him as well. I mean, I'll be honest, the podium's still on the table. He can recover to exactly where he was before. I mean, it's not a million miles out of the way. I mean, Unsworth's going into the second sector now, and Williams is only about 8 seconds behind that. He closed 4 seconds in just a few laps, so I mean, he can salvage this.
If we look at the timing towers on our other screens, Unsworth's only doing 34.6s last time around, so a good lap from him. Finally, was quicker than the leaders. But, you know, Williams is doing 34 fours, and if he's been doing that with a bit of clear track while he catches up to this traffic, we know Unsworth, when he's had Steve a bit closer to him, he's not been pumping in the greatest of lap times here tonight. So catching one thing though, passing is another, as the late great Murray Walker once said. Argent finally into the pits for his stop, and he's going to be there for a while. You get the feeling Benny Archer is on the back now of Mark Tucker. This for bronze podium. P3 is Mark Tucker in this race at the moment. He's got Benny Archer right behind him in this race. This is looking like an interesting one, to say the least, but Benny Archer will be looking to get onto that podium. A bronze winner last year in the Pro-Am category before they became their own championships. He'll be looking to take that one again with Rob Smith in a good fight with him, but Rob Smith and Archer not the start to their bronze seasons that they would have been hoping for at all here. Back down to Williams though, look, half a second to Hunt, so he's already on the back of him. Bettison in the pits, Williams going to pit. So Williams, now he's got to that traffic, has chose to come into the box.
Yeah, and he doesn't clip the inside wall. That little orange that sticks out there on the inside is what he brushed last time. Let's see if he can make some positions in the pits. I'll keep an eye on this pit lane and see if he can jump anyone.
Going to be interesting to see what happens in this one. Paul Williams now into the pit lane. Benny Archer will go back to him. Is he still in that fight with Tucker? Tucker's pulled away ever so slightly. Where did Argent come out? He stayed ahead of Privet, but he's behind Cherry Moore, so he's 28th at the moment, but a lot of drivers still to pit. We'll see who comes out the pits first. Who was the first pit runner? It was Lino. Lino was fighting behind Brian Craig. Craig did not pit. Williams with sorry, I've read the wrong Williams there. Oh, that's Rob Smith on the grass just behind Lino. I thought Paul Williams had the fastest lap for a moment, but it's not. It's Sam Williams still with the fastest lap. Benny Varga though leads, and look at the traffic Benny Varga's coming onto now as he laps Kieran Argent, who he was on the front row of the grid with.
Yes, and Johnson and Bettison come out the pit lane quite literally inside each other. With the ghosting in the pit lane, but they are nose to tail, and I think that's someone else off as they go through the downhill left-hander. Williams did not gain much in the pits, but he has a bit of clean air now, so see if he can get on the back of Johnson and Bettison.
Michael Harris will have no Hondas cutting grasses in this chat on a Wednesday night. We'll get enough of that from Kelly tomorrow night, because there's a few more Hondas out there on the grid, but Gabino's just had an off at the exit of the Shallows hairpin. He's not lost any places, but he's on the back. He's got Peckman on the back of him now. We've got Beto having a scrap with... No, he's not. He's round. Beto is around. So Richard Bettison has made a mistake at the Hislop chicane, struggling to get it back on the track, as here comes Phil Atherton to get past him.
Ooh, that's close. And I think they sideswiped just a bit.
I've got a hair in my mouth that I can't seem to get. There we go, beard hair in my mouth. Got that one now. But bonus for Williams. Williams has jumped Bettison now because of that mistake. So Williams has got ahead of Bettison. That was one of the cars that pitted before him. Let's not forget, Williams is now in the pack of traffic that haven't pitted. Peckman, Broom into the pits. So that's two cars that have pitted that he has managed to get ahead of. Malarex comes into the pit lane as he allows that of Williams to get through there then. So that's pretty easy there. But Millington is your net pit leader in this race. He was behind Unsworth, don't forget, in this one. So we'll see if he jumps him when the time comes in this race. Beto now on the back of Phil Atherton with Diego Flores, who's yet to pit, on the back of him, and Lino just behind Flores. And there in the background is your race leader, Benny Varga. For Kieran Argent now then, he's just been lapped by Benny Varga. Oh, sorry, we've got a yellow flag. That is the 555 of Sturrock at the final corner. He's a couple of laps down already as well. If you're Kieran Argent, what have you got to do? Now, in my opinion, you've got to follow Benny Varga and stick as close to Varga as you can.
For sure. I mean, you're borderline faster than him. So, he has a new car, damage repaired, as I can see. He's coming up to traffic. Just follow Benny Varga through this traffic, and I mean, it's not over till it's over. Not over till that checkered flag waves. I mean, last race Varga crossed the line with 0 seconds left. Yeah. It's
my.
weird in this game.
Oh my, sorry Langley to cut you off there, there's a heck of a four-way fight here, and through the eye of a needle goes Benny Varga, putting a lap on all the cars. Now I think Williams, yes he has, Williams had just made another mistake I saw at the exit of Knickerbrook, so all of a sudden
Medicine's back through.
Flores is now off, so that's going to give Kieran Argent a place there. He's on the back of DJ Phil, but Benny Varga threaded the eye of a needle and is going to have lost a lot of time to Wolski as these guys was having their own battle. Oh my, this is tricky for Benny Varga out there.
Varga went wide at the final corner as well. If I were him, I would have dipped in the pits. We're halfway through this race.
Yeah.
Put some new rubber on. You have the 5-second gap anyway. If Wolski decided to not take tires, you do have that 5-second gap. I don't think we're going to see it as much, or it might not be as prevalent in Pro-Am. Especially in the feature race, what am I saying? It's 25-second minimum pit stop.
Yeah.
I think in Pro tomorrow we might have a few drivers not take tires to have 5 seconds less on their pit stops, in an attempt to jump or undercut some other cars. Now, I believe that's the slower strategy overall, but with how difficult it is to overtake around here, it might be something to consider.
Yeah, fully agree. It's going to be interesting depending on the situation of where we go all season, isn't it? When we go to tracks like Cote, it could be very warm. It's going to be interesting. Kieran now, as Williams is indicating to the left. I'm not sure if he knows he's got his indicator on, but Argent's a lap down to him. And Argent is keeping up with Williams, who's on the back of Lino now. So he's lost out to Lino in this race. Lino with the early pit stop as Benny Varga clears a little bit more traffic. Gap came down to 5.7, Varga to Wolski. Interesting to see if Varga was to pit now, wouldn't it? Because he's probably done it a lap too late. He could have avoided all the chaos a moment ago. Stays out on the track. Closest fight on circuit, Benny Archer and Johnson. Johnson and Beto both jumped Hunt in the pit lane then. So they've gained an extra place, and Beto takes back the lead of the bronze category, or net lead of bronze category, sorry, because Tucker and Archer haven't pitted. Bestie's still a net second as well after all they guys pit also. As Dan Davis saying, should have come to your old Lexus to Michael Harris there, and he says, I've done my best ever around here in the Lexus. And Dan's been sweating it out, to say the least, to try and get to where he is. I know he's looking for that elusive 31 around here. We'll see what happens as Flores now decides to come into the pit lane, and Benny Archer bounces out of the Britain chicane. Johnson gets through, and that'll be a sigh of relief for Johnson, because Benny Archer's yet to pit. As he's laid on the brakes, he's tapped Johnson. He spins Johnson around at the Hislop chicane and continues on his way. And Benny Archer there, who's already done his pit stop. This will allow Bettison through, and possibly Hunt. No, he won't, because Johnson gets back going. Argent has unlapped himself, by the way.
Oh,
and he's got track limits. That is harsh.
That's no.
That is harsh.
That's something where if like in iRacing that you could take away, I would take away right now. I saw the whole thing. Man, he got going again in the middle of the chicane, but he was on the off-road behind the bollards, the signs with the arrows, and he got going again, and he got a drive-through for that. That is ridiculous. That's way too harsh.
That's going to hurt him. The bonus around Oulton Park is it is only a 14-second loss, but it's 14 seconds he didn't need to lose. As Sam Williams still has the indicator on, but he's drifting through turn 1. He is struggling in race 2 here. Kieran Argent has unlapped himself, and he's unlapped himself from Lino as well. So this shows the pace of Argent in this one to have unlapped himself. Williams now coming under pressure from his teammate Andrew Taylor. Wolski is lapping these cars. Wolski's taking the lead of this race because Varga's pitted. Unsworth into the pits, so let's see where Millington is. He's only at the Knickerbrook corner now, so this is going to be an interesting one, but that is very harsh for Michael Johnson. He will feel very, very annoyed at that one.
I mean, the safest way to rejoin, I mean, he rejoined on a part of a track that had no cars on it. So that's just incredibly harsh. That's... and unfortunately, it's not like we can just take away 14 seconds of race time. It doesn't work like that. And yeah, that's just very harsh, unfortunately. We'll remember it though.
Right.
Vargas made his pit stop now.
He has indeed, and Millington has jumped Unsworth by a country mile in the pits. Unsworth will only lose that one place. That could put Steve on the podium here then for this race. Lino is on the back of Williams, so Williams has got ahead of Lino at some point. He's now got Taylor to deal with in this race. We've got Paul Williams with Greaves and Peckman having a fight with them two. Flores and Cherry Moore still sat in the pit lane. They hopefully will rejoin this race. Not got to three-quarter distance, so points won't count for them. Wolski straight into the pits. And Benny Vargas not got the clear track he had in race 1. He's straight away onto the back of Brian Craig, who lets him go on the exit of the chicane to put to get him past. Brian Craig not fighting that too hard, knowing that he's got to do his pit stop.
Yeah, Wolski in the pits, as you said. I expect Varga to be well clear of him, even with the traffic. He's dealt with the traffic well. Sometimes you have to go off track to avoid traffic. That's what it is in Pro-Am. He's kept his head, and that's what he'll need to do all season. He just got to keep his head. You can agree with me, you can disagree with. I don't think he's been the fastest driver tonight.
Benny,
I really don't. Yeah, I don't think Benny Varga's been the fast, like on pure pace, 1 lap or 5 lap race pace, whatever. I don't think he's been the outright fastest driver tonight, but very consistent, very level-headed, and it's looking right now that will propel him to the not only the top of the championship, but 2 P1s in the first round.
Double race win with a pole position to his name as well. Not the fastest lap in both races and not the second pole, so not maximum points for Benny Varga, but the better points, if you will, because you'd rather take the 2 race wins than 2 pole positions at the end of the day. Beto's got past Archer as Archer dives into the pit lane. Taylor on the back of Lino. So who is still to pit in this race? Phil Atherton, Benny Archer, Mark Tucker and Brian Craig, all still to pit in this race at the moment, as we can see Johnson getting on the back of DJ Phil. That is Dronelander, who's just come out the pits ahead of Lino, so stays in front as Johnson gets now ahead of Phil Atherton. He's down in 14th place with a couple of guys pitting. No, he's up to 13th place because Benny Archer's in the pits. What a shame for Johnson. What could have been in this race? A top 10, if not a top 5 potentially.
Yeah, and it wasn't even his fault. It was a back marker, and that's just that. It's gutting. I mean, it's like I would put it in the same category when like you disconnect, and that's an internet issue. It's out of your control. I would put that in the same category as something happened to him out of his control. Yeah. But what can he take from this race that's a positive? Well, he's still finishing. He's still getting points. Pace has been great all night. I mean, he's been top 10, solid top 10, not even close to being outside the top 10. Near top 5 all night, and I mean, that's great. He can take that into the next round. There's no reason at this point, if he finishes where he is right now, and we still have a couple left to pit, I believe he'll jump them. Yes, he should. He should jump the 2 left to pit. There's no reason to be upset with a P11 when something happened to you that's out of your control. And you did everything correct.
He's got the pace to try and get onto the back of the others as well. Where is he? He's only... Salino is been overtaken by Andrew Taylor, by the way, on the last lap. He's just gone through turn 1. Johnson's at turn 1. He's only 5.7 behind, so not a million miles behind with good pace. Williams hunting down Hunt at the moment. And this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. Hunt a little wide through the kink. Williams has a sniff. Can't get it done. Taps the rear of Hunt, and off goes Hunt. This will allow Argent to unlap himself from the pair of them. The question is Williams waiting? Yes, he is. This is going to lose him a position to Dronelander as well, and to possibly his teammate as he gets back up to speed. Yes, it does. Will Lino look at an opportunity at the chicane? Full send from Lino across the curb, cuts the corner, and will surely have to give that one back. But Williams losing out there through a mistake of his own, just tapping the back of the Porsche, in that one. Brian Craig still to pit.
I don't know why Lino's not getting out the way. There's no way on earth that he shouldn't give that back. Yeah. He overtook him off the track. He broke way too late. I mean,
he's
still fighting it.
He is fighting it. Gone a little wide though. Williams going to get him on the inside of Druids. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, little dodgy.
Yeah, I think the only reason Williams got him back was because he ran a bit wide. But yeah, we have a spin. We have, I think that's Rob Smith, 105 around at the first corner in the Honda, and then we have someone at the hairpin.
Paul Williams is stationary. I assume he's waiting for cars to come through. He's found the gap, gets a clear gap on his track map, and back onto the track he comes now. Flores and Cherry Moore, they look like they're possible retirements from this race, sat in the pit lane in this one. Kieran Argent to Rob Smith. Where's that? So Rob Smith coming up towards the hairpin now. Kieran at the kink, so he's only 5.9 behind. Remember, Kieran was on pole for this race, not to be though in this one. Bestie coming under pressure from Peckman, but this is not for that bronze podium. This is for overall positions at the moment. Bestie 2.8 behind Phil Atherton, but Phil Atherton and Brian Craig yet to pit in this race here. Dronelander keeping Hunt honest. That's 0.4 of a second. They've got Taylor and now Williams, who's going to once again try and come past his team.
I've been very impressed with Bestie. I think he's going to be fighting for a few more race wins. I think Betterson's shown he has silver pace tonight, but obviously if he keeps that consistency is the only reason he'd be moved into silver. Made a few mistakes in race one. I do think he is silver pace. Is he silver consistency though? We'll find that out over the next 2 rounds, including this, but P6 is well solid in the silver area, so we'll see about that. But yeah, Bestie's, I mean,
he's done what he's needed to do, hasn't he? He's kept it going in the right way. He's he's kept it consistent, and like you say, that it's not the qualifying pace, it's the race pace in which determines whether you're silver or bronze. And we have to thank Matt Wright for the hard work he puts in for working out these driver categories. But yeah, at the minute, Bestie looking pretty solid for another second place in silver. We've got Johnson now, look. That gap was 5 seconds. Rob Smith well off into the wall at turn 1. So he's gone straight on at turn 1. That's got Kieran Argent already through. And old Sim Racers in the pits. So Kieran Argent's up to 21st. 18 seconds to find to Paul Williams. But Peckman trying to make the move on Bestie. Can't do so because Rob Smith is now there as he rejoins the circuit. Johnson was 5 seconds behind a few laps ago. He's now 7/10 off the back, but we've got a Team Audio Sport battle. Williams and Taylor going at it here. I don't think Taylor's going to make this one too hard for Williams, but we'll wait and see. They made plenty of contact last season. And what a shame. Taylor goes deep and he's just going to allow his teammate through. That's probably the best solution there for him. What a shame, because Williams has had such good pace there, but race 2 has gone horribly wrong.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I were him, I wouldn't even be worried about like trying quali pace for next week. I believe next week is the Nürburgring, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Love that track, beautiful track, and I mean, no better opportunity than to get right from what's happened tonight. I think his pace is there. He just needs to work on consistency, and he'll be right up there with Benny Varga again. He's been up there with Benny Varga tonight in race 1. I think he's been the quickest driver all night. Yeah, work on the consistency. He'll be right up there. And, I mean, over a season's time, that can win you a championship.
Oh, Peckman's had a mistake behind Bestie. He's dropped way behind, and Gabino will get through there. So Gabino moves up into P15 in this race at the moment then. And Johnson gaining on the back. Taylor trying to stick with his teammate. Dronelander on the back now.
The second sector.
That's 5, 6, 7. Yeah, can't quite see who that is. Argent's just made a mistake.
Simcoe, who's a few laps down right now.
So Simcoe a few laps down. Rob Smith back into the pits. Argent wide again. He'll let the cars of Williams and probably Taylor through, and maybe even the fat lad of Leno and Johnson as well. No, just Williams. He's holding up Taylor now in this one. Former teammates. Atherton into the pits. That puts Bestie back up to second in class in this race at the moment. Bestie running in a solid 13th place as well. Has Taylor got past Argent? Yes, he has. And Johnson and Leno, closest fight on the circuit at this moment in time. It says it's 0.8 of a second. It definitely is not.
For sure. Benny Varga's dominated tonight. So far, 16 minutes to go. I still think there's a lot to happen. We still need Craig to make another pit stop. Williams is right on the back of Dronelander right now, looking toward the inside into the final corner. Will not happen. but will Dronelander go a bit wide on exit? No, he keeps it together. But I do think Williams will be by Dronelander soon. He still has a chance to get, what is it, P7 here? Hunt is not too far up the road. I mean, he's still got P2 race 1. And what is it? Is it 80% this year?
70% for scoring points without retiring.
Is it still full points for sprint race?
Yeah, full points.
Yeah. So I mean, he got P2 race 1. I mean, he's going to be top 5 in the championship still. I believe so, or around there. So no hard feelings. You know, you have the pace. So.
Indeed, so we're watching the fight Cabino and Peckman. We've got the fight between Williams and Dronelander, and then we've got the fight between Lino and Johnson as well. That big Nissan really putting Lino under some pressure, makes a mistake, onto the grass he goes. That's going to open the door for the Nissan, who runs a little wide and goes onto the grass himself, but Godzilla powers past the Ferrari, and the prancing horse tucks in behind the Japanese beast then of the Nissan. Johnson up to P11 after his drive-through penalty. Williams just dropping off the back, and if you look, Mike Hunt is right there as well. Just one thing to keep our eyes on in this race. Millington has got the gap down to Wolski, because over these last couple of laps he has been 0.6 of a second quicker. Lost half a second last lap, but has been a lot quicker.
Oh, Johnson's off at the right-hander. He just brushes the wall. I think he'll get away with that one. I didn't see if he made contact with anyone, but Johnson loses another position to Taylor again, I believe. Yes. He had just got by him, and now he loses that position again.
He got past Lino, I do believe. Taylor was already in front.
Yes.
So he loses out to Lino once again, so he's got to catch him back up. Dronelander on the back of Hunt. He's pulled away from Williams, because Williams made a mistake somewhere. Brian Craig still to pit. That is the back marker moving right out the way. Does not want to get in a part of this fight up at the sharp end of the grid, as Dronelander getting closer to Hunt in the Porsche. And it could go on for a BMW 1-2 in this race as well at the moment, with the McLaren running P3. If Unsworth can find 4 seconds, he could be a BMW 1-2-3, and Beto currently your bronze leader. Bestie second place. Malrex P3 in this one as well in the bronze category. A great night of action here. Peckman on the back of Gabino, Gabino on the back of Bestie as well. So a good little three-way fight this for 13th, 14th and 15th, and so easy to defend round here, as we've said all night. Gabino a little later on the brakes than Bestie, closes in on under braking. But you've just got to find that perfect spot to make the overtake. Drive-through penalty, Andrew Taylor. And that's what you get for not doing Donington Park at the end of last season, Andrew, is you missed that one to not get your normal drive-through penalty. You've got it this week at Brian Craig in the pits. But Taylor on for 2 good top 10s. Well, that one's now gone.
Oh, that was a bit mean, wasn't it?
No. He'll understand exactly what I'm saying.
I know. But yeah, we have a good fight, like you said, between Bestie, Garbino, and Peckman here. I think Garbino and Peckman have the pace, but the Ford, even with that 20% restrictor, not only is it good on the straight still, it's wide. And it is hard to see. Whoa. Especially...
Sorry, great. Big moment for Williams again on the exit. Turn 1 as Dronelander taps the back of Hunt. Hunt somehow hangs on to that, drifting through Cascades. Sorry, Gray, back to you.
All good. Yeah, Bestie, as I was saying, that Ford is very wide, and it's hard to see if you're in bonnet cam. It is very hard to see in front of you, so that Ford's not going to be easy to overtake.
Yeah. Taylor's only lost 2 places here because of Brian Craig pitting. Taylor has only lost 2 positions, so he's not lost a lot with that drive through there. But like you say, Bestie's going to be difficult to overtake unless Gabino gets it done coming through Cascades, and he has done. So Bestie drops down to 14th place. But I don't think he's going to fight it too hard, because he knows that for bronze, that doesn't really matter. It matters overall, but not in that bronze championship. So with the overall points, he'd like to score a bit more to keep the gap closer to Beto, but yeah, not at the minute. Dronelander gave Hunt a flash of the lights, but it was Dronelander who hit the back of him, as Williams again kicking up the gravel. Interesting. Dan reckons that Pro will be a 31. I don't doubt that for a second, especially with the track rubbering in a bit more. I think we'll see a 31 in qualifying tomorrow night. And it's got to be.
It's supposed to be cooler. It's supposed to be a bit cooler, so that'll help the lap times.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Michael Harris says it's got to be 31, especially with the times Pro-Ams have been setting tonight. I couldn't agree more at the moment. But to Dronelander putting Hunt under pressure. We've got Johnson back on the rear of Lino. trying to get through. That's a lapped car rejoining the circuit, coming into the pits to repair damage. Flores, Cherry Moore, definite retirement for them two. They've been in the pits way too long now, 9 and 11 laps down. Simcoe back in the pits to repair some damage. That would have been the back marker there, but this is the fight at the moment between Lino and
Williams
Johnson.
is off again. Williams is off again.
Oh, is he going to get overtaken by Lino and Johnson here? He is, you know.
I believe he is,
yeah,
yes.
Through they go. So Williams makes another mistake in this race. It's gone horribly wrong for him.
It's the same thing as last season. He's just struggling a bit to find or wrangle the neck of the car he's in, just to make it not so snappy in the corners. I think he lost it under the braking there again where that bump is, and yeah, it's a shame knowing that you've been the quickest car all night, especially over a single lap, but yeah, those mistakes have just added up. If he doesn't make another one, which as I say that, he goes a bit deep, it'll be a top 10, but just have to think what could have been, but you can't dwell on that too long.
Exactly, he's got to clear his head and go again for next time out. Driver of the day poll going up now. Bettison, Varga, Wolski, or if you pick other, comment who you think the other one should be, as here comes Johnson to the outside. Alino, they just tap doors a little bit into the final corner, looking for the up and under. No, he can't do it there. Dronelander still on the back of Hunt, and Johnson fighting down after Lino at the moment. He has been really racy tonight, has Johnson. He's looked fantastic. Best he's been overtaken by Peckman, who's still on the back of Gabino, nearly runs into the back of him. Back to the Johnson fight, though, trying to get up the inside into Cascades at the moment. Can't find the opening there so far. Aberdeen late to the party, looking like Varga for the win. He has been fantastic as Varga tonight in this race. Millington compared to Wolski, another half a second last lap, but the gap is 9.2. Doesn't look like he's going to do that one in this race unless Wolski makes a mistake here then. The driver of the day vote has gone up. Get your votes in the chat for who you think will be that one. 3 votes have gone in already. 2 for Beto, 1 for Benny Varga. And Johnson here looking racy. Taylor on the back of Brian Craig developing, as well as Gabino and Peckman. And Dronelander and Hunt, but out front Varga is doing the job.
Yeah, Hunt made a little mistake. Dronelander's now ahead. He went a bit deep. I couldn't tell if there was contact on the rear. I know he was. I know Dronelander was up his rear end quite a bit the last few laps, so I'm not sure if there was any contact. Don't think so, but I did see Hunt go a little bit deep there, and that gives Dronelander that position, P6.
Andrew Taylor looking the closest scrap on the track at the moment, 0.2 of a second behind Brian Craig. Got to find a way through. He's had a drive-through penalty as well as Johnson in this race, except Taylor's was actually more a legitimate drive-through than what Johnson's was. If you didn't see it, got hit off, took the escape road in rejoin. He was already off at that point at that chicane, and yeah, got the drive-through penalty for it. He'll feel very harsh done to by that one. So Taylor and Craig there both making a little mistake, so Craig actually opens that gap back up once again. Johnson still staring at the back of Lino's Ferrari. 7 minutes left to go in this race. 12.9 seconds, Varga to Wolski. Varga has been in a class of his own in this race tonight.
Yeah, if Johnson didn't get hit and get that very unfair drive-through penalty, he would have been up in P6.
Oh, Williams has had a big spin. Hold the brakes. Oh, the teammates have hit each other. Williams and Taylor have had big impact. Williams had a spin on his own. Didn't look like he held the brakes. Huge damage to the front of Taylor's car and potentially to the rear of Williams. Best he could pick up another 2 places in this one. And a big moment. The 2 teammates collide together after Williams has had a moment. And look at the front of Taylor's car. He's lost out to Gabino and Peckman. And Taylor's car is badly battered there. He's going to struggle to get that one to the very end.
Yeah, that's. I said it went bad to worse to ugly for Argent earlier in this race. I'm afraid the same's happened for Sam and unfortunately Audiosport. Yeah. Maybe I should stop complimenting teams. I mean, Stream didn't hear it, but I made a compliment to Audiosport in the break. I said I think they can make a big fight for the constructors this season, and it's gone awfully wrong in this one.
Yeah,
unfortunately. I think Bestie's he's for P13 here, possibly.
Possibly is, you know. Taylor Williams has been struggling, maybe struggling with the rear of that car now. It took a heck of a whack. Taylor's going to carry on his way. Fastest lap to salvage Williams' day at the moment, but yeah, when it rains it pours. Well, we've had no rain here at Oulton Park, but it is absolutely tipped it down for Williams in this second race. It has not gone the way he wanted. Brooms being caught by Malarex down the bottom end of the pack as well. And so far, so good for Benny Varga, Wolski, Millington and Unsworth. Pretty unscathed. Beto's had a pretty good race. Had that one spin earlier on. But apart from that, has looked really strong for his P5 in this Lexus. He could be loving the fact he's took the Lexus this season. Johnson to 6 taps to Leno. He just can't find a way through. DJ Phil Atherton giving somebody a flash of the lights there. Not sure who that was. Old Sims. Not sure what that's about. But Phil was flashing him. He's getting blue flags now. So we'll hopefully pull out the way sooner rather than later. And Mike Hunt. There we go. Drive-through penalty number 2. The best thing for Hunt is he's got the gap of 21 seconds, so that shouldn't hurt his racing position overall.
No, it shouldn't. Benny Varga, ironically,
he stopped. Hunt's returned to the pit lane. He's got major damage, so he's had a moment somewhere and he's in the pits.
Hopefully he's not retiring from this race. Varga's actually lapped. And
Bestie, Johnson's in the pits. Oh no!
Why is Johnson in the pits?
What has happened there?
Disconnect.
I don't think he's disconnected. No, he's still saying he's 7th. We'll see when the timing towers update. But Hunt in the pits with a drive-through. Johnson's now in the pits as well. We've now got Brian, Craig, Gabino and Peckman for a 3-way fight for now what is technically going to be P8 in this race. Yeah, there we go. Johnson tumbling down the order. Taylor and Williams fending off now. Oh, that's Benny Varga, sorry, putting a lap on them.
Yeah,
but Bestie's getting closer. Bestie could be P11 in this race.
Unbelievable. Consistency prevails.
Rob saying Millington for driver of the race. That's a vote for Millington there as Dronelander gets a little caught up at the Bridge chicane on Brian Craig. Peckman couldn't find a way through. So Millington,
honestly, I can get behind that. He didn't have a great qualifying in race 1. I think he was P11.
Oh, Dronelander's missed the chicane. Sorry, great. Let's see if he's taken to the escape road. As Bestie's now putting a challenge on the 2 Audio Sport cars. He's passed that of Williams, looking round the outside of Taylor. Taylor's giving him a wide berth for Knickerbrook. Gives him the Bestie squeeze onto the gravel. And Taylor helpless in that one. Bestie up into P11.
The good old Bestie squeeze, as we call it.
Your old boy, your old teammate. Nearly in the top 10.
I was saying, Millington, he struggled a bit in race 1, P11 in qualifying, and then he might have a penalty coming his way for the contact with Argent into turn 1. But, you know what, he's turned it around, and consistency's got him this podium. Yeah. He's definitely not... He's been top 5, or he's been in the top 5 all race. I don't think he's been top 5 quickest drivers all race, but...
Sorry, Greg, we've lost 3 drivers as well. We've lost Sam Greaves, who's not...
Did we lose Johnson?
No, Johnson's still in. We've lost Sam Greaves from this race. Flores and Cherry Moore are still in the pit lane. We've lost Sturrock in the Mercedes-Benz.
I think Hunt's retired as well, which would carry a race ban. I'm not sure. He might
got to 3/4 distance.
Quali ban.
Yeah, he got to 3/4 distance. We will score points. We've also lost Benny Archer.
Yeah, not sure about that. I know Flores and Cherry Moore's retired. They are 16 and 18 laps down respectively. So that should carry a quali ban. Yeah, we're closing to the end of this one. I'm not sure. We're approaching the final lap, or Benny Varga's going through the double right-hander toward the final corner now to start his final lap of what has been an utterly dominant opening round for him. Maybe us teaming up in the 6-hour, he gained a few tips from me. No, but even in the 6-hour, he'd never driven the Ferrari before, and after his first stint, he was very consistent. I told him that if we just kept it on track, if we kept going, didn't make mistakes, it'd be easily top 10, and we ended up P7. So he's great at adaptability. He has insane pace on his night.
Sorry, buddy. Just noticed that Wolski's only a second clear of Millington, so that was over 10 seconds 2 or 3 laps ago. And it's now 8/10 of a second.
Made a mistake.
Last lap of the race, and Millington could be on for a P2 here.
If Millington gets P2, I mean, it's great to see him back up here as well. I mean, I know it's hard being at the back of a pro field, but to get your head down and get into it in Pro-Am again, it's good to see him back up here, showing what he has.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if Benny Varga will lap these three, because the three that's in front of him is Brian Craig, Peckman and Gabino for 8th, 9th and 10th. They're having a quality little scrap. So we'll see if Benny Varga
If I were him, I'd just back off.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. I'd let them go. Let them do their last lap. Wolsey's got 2 lap drivers to get through as well. So we've had a few retirements in this one. But we will keep our eyes on it. We're watching the battle for P2 as well at the moment. Let's just go back to Peckman. Varga's not close enough. So this fight will rage on for one more lap, but we're going to go to our race winner, double race winner, Benny Varga. What a night for him. Williams has got back ahead of Bestie in this race. So Bestie's down in 12th now. But Benny Varga is going to win here at race 2 for Oulton Park. 2 from 2 for Benny Varga in a great night for him. Wolski now with a bit of traffic. Can Millington with 1.5 corners left to go as Malarex is wide. Can he find a way through? He's got 1 corner. Gap's too big for me. If Williams is going to do anything in this one, gap is way too gap is way too big to Wolski. Wolski needed a mistake, it didn't come, so a great second place for Wolski. He will take P2. Steve Millington P3. We await P4 now of Unsworth. Good seeing back. P4 for him. Bettison P5. What a drive from Bettison in this race. Absolutely fantastic to see him back on the grid, fully in that Lexus new car. P5 for him is a solid result in this one, and he can be very, very happy with his day's work indeed.
Yeah, for sure. And Varga cementing his championship shout this race one. I said he had to get off with a bang. He needed to come out and show the rest of the grid that I'm winning this championship this year, and that's exactly what it came out and did. Great start for him. It's not without saying though that there are some other there were other faster drivers tonight that definitely will be challenging him the rest of this season. But what a start for Benny Varga tonight. 2 P1s and well ahead in the championship.
Well ahead in the championship. What a race. We'll get all the results in. Hopefully some of the drivers join us in the commentary box for this one. And yeah, what a night this has been. It's been an absolutely fantastic bit of racing. We'll get that final result on screen for you now. Johnson down in 16th place, not the night he'd have hoped for. Peckman didn't get Brian Craig in the end, so he stays P9. Phil Atherton 19th for him. Gabino was P10. Oldsim, not the best of returns, down in 22nd. Unsworth, as we know, P4. Kieran Argent, what could have been, but it was 20th place. Bestie P12, good result for him. Brian Craig P8. Going long work for Brian Craig in that one. That seemed like a good strategy from him. Mark Tucker 17th. Lino was up there in 6th. We had Dronelander P7. Simcoe 25th. He did get 3/4 distance. A few retirements as well in that one. But we will try and bring you some of the driver interviews just before we get into this. Is a look then at the calendar for this season. Oulton Park we've just done. We head to the Nürburgring next week, where you can join us live from the Nürburgring. Me and Langley will be live for the Pro-Am commentary. Dan Davis back for the Who Darren Cup, and me and Kelly will be live tomorrow night for the final race at Oulton Park of the week for the Pro Series, and me and Kelly will be back in your box next week for Nürburgring. We then go to Misano for the first night race. Imola's an evening race. Silverstone's a halfway stage of the season. Bathurst for an early morning race. Then Spa, Kyle Army, Kota, Donington Park is where we end the season the week before Christmas. But we have got a few drivers in the commentary box with us. And we'll start off, first of all, we'll go to the bronze driver who's come in for a quick chat and a quick interview. We'll bring that of Ian Best, who is in the box at the minute. Second place. And Bestie, that was a heck of a night from you. It looked like you kept it consistent out there.
Yeah, I mean, I made a change to the Mustang and it seems to suit my style there. But yeah, it was a very, very good race, clean race. Felt sorry for Kieran, obviously on pole there. But yeah, it was a nice race to back that up with the race one as well. With I think it was the 13th or 14th. So yeah, good night out.
Now, you tested the Mustang in the pre-season just before the new bot file had came in for it. So you know how it felt going into the season without the restrictor. Talk us through how that change was and how the Mustang feels now.
So the Mustang actually feels better. So it feels very similar to the Ferrari on the brakes. Very stable, not so much oversteer. There is a touch of understeer around here, but it feels like a really planted car. The gearing's a bit different to the Ferrari, but yeah, big difference to what it was like before the restrictor.
P2 in bronze tonight. Obviously, there's overall and the bronze championship now to play for properly this season. You've got to be happy. 2 podiums. Bettison just looked like he was in a world of his own tonight for the leader of bronze, but you've got to be happy with 2 second places.
100%. And yeah, Bettison, I mean, last season was a bit out of the running. This season, fair play to him. You know, really good effort, and he's pushing the boys at the top as well, so it's good to see.
Well, Bestie, congratulations tonight. We'll catch you next
time.
Steve Millington has just joined, so we'll get a quick chat with him for P3. Steve, P3 tonight. You was catching Wolski at the end. Not sure what happened to him, but it just one lap too short, I suppose.
Yeah, it was an hard one. That was. It's I've had no pre-season testing in this. Done maximum of 10 laps before I even come into this tonight, and yeah, it's gone. To be fair, it's gone really well. Unlucky in race one with a little collision, but overall, very, very pleased.
Third in the second race, the pace was there. It looked like you and Unsworth were having a good little battle before the round of pit stops came in. That was an interesting one. You got the jump on him. Did that allow you to chase down Wolski a little bit more?
Yes, definitely. So to be fair, I was working with Rob. Bit of race strategy by him, and to be fair, was working if we could get into a gap, and I just had to committed to it, and I come out. To be fair, I come out in a lovely gap, which made me. I was consistent. But there was a bit of fighting with Unsworth, so it was up and down on the times. I knew I had a bit more consistency, so I needed that free space. Pitted, got the free space, and it gave me that 5-second cushion over him, which allowed me to try and push towards Wolski.
Yeah. Now, we know you've been under the weather this week. Obviously, struggled a little bit last night, struggled in race one tonight. How are you feeling, first of all? Hopefully you feel okay after that race.
Yeah, I feel all good. It's nice to be back on the box. It's been, I think, a season and a half since Kota.
Yeah.
In the Pro-Am since I've last been in the box, so it's lovely to be back here and battling. It's a good Pro-Am league this year. Yeah,
it's going to be a tough one. And it's funny what a Constructors' Championship does to a guy, eh? Rob being your race engineer.
That's it. Yeah, he's loving life now. He's high on that still.
Steve, congratulations. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
We've got Wolski in the box as well. Wolski, welcome to the commentary box. P2, P3 in race one. A pretty good start to the season for yourself.
Well, yeah. I basically didn't expect that. The second race, I'm really surprised with the result because of the amount of the mistakes I did. I consider myself very lucky to finish P2. I should be P6 or P7 or even lower. So yeah, I was very lucky. Also, I had a very big moment towards the end. Well, I just fell almost asleep and went to the grass, but saved it without any touching any barriers. And I had Millington behind me for one sec, I think. So yeah, my heart rate is like now 160.
You go back to last season, a bit up and down. Some races really good, some races not so good. Consistency is going to be the key this year, isn't it? Like Steve's just said, Pro-Am looks as fast as ever, so it's going to be the key this season to be as consistent as possible.
Yeah, exactly, and my consistent rate is very good because P3 and P2, So let's keep that.
Yep. Next week, Nürburgring. What can you do around there? Looking, it should be another good track for the BMW.
Yeah, hope so. We will see. We will see. Maybe I will find time to practice a bit more, because practice for this race was basically zero, considering the last race from yesterday. It was just knowing the track basically. So,
Yeah.
so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Well, congratulations on the 2 podiums tonight. Enjoy that one, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
And we've got Benny Varga in the chat. Double race winner. Benny, it's been a while since we've got to chat. It's been a long time. You did well in the endurance race at the weekend, obviously jumping in last minute with Langley, and a double race win tonight. That must feel really good.
Yeah, couldn't be better. So I really feel awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and it feels good that finally I managed to put together, let's say, a perfect night. But to be honest, I don't think I was the fastest car overall this night. So it was my consistency and good strategy that I think won me the race. So Pro-Am is going to be really tough this season, I think.
It's going to be really tough. You look like you've had a bit of the rub of the defending Pro-Am champion from Saturday, of Langley, teaming with him in the endurance event. Running them quantum colours must have rubbed off on you, because, like you say, not the fastest tonight, but on a circuit that's hard to overtake and pass on, you did the job you needed to.
Yeah, I'm absolutely glad that I could manage to pull basically a mistake-less race. I had a few little ones here and there, but overall it was... Both of the races ended up being sort of perfect, so I'm really glad that this could happen, because last season sometimes I was really struggling with consistency. I was making bad mistakes. I lost a lot of championship points here and there. So I hope I can continue with this form. Yeah.
Nürburgring next week. What can you do at the Nürburgring again? Like Wolfsburg,
Well,
BMW could be strong.
I absolutely adore that track, so I hope to get back as strong as I was here. So I already have a nice little good setup that suits my driver style quite well, so I hope to be fast there too.
Well, Benny, congratulations on the wins tonight.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And we'll quickly run through the silver and the bronze championships standings then. So it's Varga who leads 18 points clear of Wolski at the moment. Unswift's P3 with Williams in 4th. Leno is P5 from Steve Millington, Brian Craig, Andrew Taylor, then it's Dronelander, Hunt, Argent, Gabino, Oldsim, Williams, Peckman, Michael Johnson, Broom, Flores, Greaves, Jimenez, Davis, Cummings, Waste, Leach, Lane and De Block. And in bronze it is Bettison with a 32-point lead over Best from Malarex, Tucker, Atherton, Privet, Smith, Simcoe, Cherrymore, Sturrock, John Andrews, Archer and Darren Bell. The team's championship is Team Audio Sport, 18 points clear of the real-time racing guys of Unsworth and Old Sim. Greasy Bandits a P3, a point out of Team Merlo in 4th. Quantum down in 5th with Sodor Racing P6. SimPlay Racing a P7 with Team Aspire P8. 4Q Motorsport P9, Black and Blue Racing P10. Balkan Simub up P11 from SC Racing. Bearded Racing, Billy No Mates, Roadrunner Motors, Team GBR and SRC Motorsport down the bottom end. And in the overall standings, we'll quickly run through these as we just sort them out into the correct order. The overall standings then look like this. It is Varga leading from Wolski with Unsworth, Leno, Bettison P5, solid night for him, with Steve Millington, Brian Craig, Andrew Taylor, Williams, Dronelander, Hunt, Argent 12th with Bestie in 13th. He's the second of the bronze drivers, don't forget. Then it's Gabino, Old Sim, Williams, Peckman, Malarex, who's third in bronze. He's P18 overall. Johnson, Broom. And then it's Tucker, Atherton, Privet, Smith, Simcoe. They're all bronze drivers as well. From Flores, Cherrymore in bronze, P27. From Greaves with John Andrews, Darren Bell, Benny Archer, Catherine Lane, Gary Leach, Cummings, Davis, Waste, Jimenez, De Block and Sturrock, rounding out that championship standings there. Driver of the day went the way of Benny Varga to add another piece of joy to his evening. Langley, final thoughts on your driver of the day?
Oh, yeah, Varga, you must have been listening to the stream, because it's exactly what we said. Your consistency won it tonight. I don't think you were the quickest either, but yeah, great job tonight. Great job, Wolski on P2 and Millington back on the podium in P3. My driver, I'm gonna give 2. I'm gonna give 1 silver and I'm gonna give 1 bronze. And for the bronze, I'm gonna give two co-driver of the day. I gotta give it to Bestie. I think his consistency got him 2 P2s in that bronze class tonight. I think obviously Benny Varga with his consistency, and he won by I think over 20 seconds. I have to give it to him in the silver class, but it has to be said that Betterson was top 5 pace all night too, and was running around the top 5 as a bronze driver tonight. So that's an amazing improvement from last season. On to the Nürburgring next week. As Vargas said, I love that track too. I honestly have not met someone who dislikes that track yet, and if you do, please rethink your decisions. I love that track. It's great for GT racing. It's great for any racing, to be honest. And I'm excited for next week. I think we're going to have a great championship on our hands this season, and Pro-Am, and M2s, and Pro tomorrow night. So stay tuned in for the rest of this season. Pro tomorrow night, and then the Nürburgring next week.
Yeah, going to be absolutely fantastic. You're not going to want to miss any of the action. I'm also going to give 2. I'm going to give mine to Benny Varga and Bettison. I'd have gone with Bestie. I think Bettison in bronze has just had a better night. We'll see how the season develops in terms of that. May change, because I don't always like to give it to the race winners that run away with it. But race 1 of the season, it's hard to look past any other people than the 2 winners of both categories. So well done to Bettison and to that of Benny Varga for the driver of the day in the commentary box and in the fans vote as well. Congratulations to them too. We'll be back though, me and Langley, next week, same time, for the next round of racing here in the Pro-Ams. It's going to be a heck of a season. Wolski, Williams, Varga. It's going to be interesting. There could be others to upset the party as well. You're not going to want to miss anything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified when we go live throughout any of the season. Also, check out our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and that of Audio Sport, in the description below. Give them a check. Brilliant sponsors and partners for this season. But that brings an end to the championship tonight. To the Pro-Am tonight. Me and Kelly will be back in the commentary box tomorrow night for the Pro Series. Remember, if you want to become a Patreon, link is in the description. We'll get it in the YouTube description as well. It's in the Discord. £3 a month gives you all that access there. And a big thank you once again to our current Patreons who we have who have pledged their Patrons for quite a while now. Brilliant to have you all on board. It's fantastic to have you all here. But that is the end of what has been an awesome Pro-Am night here at Oulton Park. We go to Germany for Nürburgring in a week's time. We'll see you there. Goodbye.